I was backstage at this Tenacious D concert, and this chap walks up to me, and he's like, "There's been a leak," and then Charles walks out. What's his name? Charles.
Charles who? Don't know.
Giles. What's his name? Sorry.
Charles Giles.
Yes.
Not Kyle Gass.
The American author, Charles Giles.
That Kyle guy came out. What's his name? Kyle.
Oh, gas.
No, it was a water leak.
That's terrible, Michael.
Boo! And welcome to a very spooky episode of FRUK Unwrapped. My name is Count Natula, and tonight we're going to be discussing Halloween. But first, if I had to compare him to a classic horror... Oh, fuck me.
Shall we take it again from the top?
Makes MJ's jokes look better now, doesn't it? Bloody hell.
Boo! And welcome to a very spooky episode of FRUK Unwrapped. My name is Count Natula. And tonight we're going to be discussing Halloween. But first, if I had to compare him to a classic horror monster, it would be Pennywise. Red hair, bit of a clown, and hangs around kids. It's Stuart Bullock.
Oh, that might be one of my favourites ever.
All accurate. All
It
accurate.
is.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, none of it's an insult.
It's not. No, I'm not sure about. I prefer rather than clown. I prefer chilled out entertainer. But other than that, and I wish I had red hair, if anything. So
No, I don't think being compared to one of Stephen King's characters could ever be considered an insult.
No, exactly. Prolific writer, Stephen.
you've
King.
always reminded me of Kathy Bates.
Not our son,
That is-
master.
That is dodgy foot.
How are you doing, Stuart? Been a while since we chatted.
Yeah, I've missed you, to be fair.
It has been quite. It's
yeah.
traumatic, actually.
Yeah.
Didn't you guys film a podcast not only last night but the night before as well?
No,
No.
Nope.
Don't spoil the magic, Michael.
Sorry.
we don't film podcasts.
No, you don't. You record them. Audio medium. I'm all right. I'm having a couple of days away tomorrow.
Oh, where you going?
Going away. Can't say. Not 100% legal, is it? So don't want to get arrested.
Can't say take it away.
Can't say take it away. Yeah, take me away if anything. Yeah.
That's very true.
Going to York for a couple of days. Couple of nights. York Viking Centre. Learn about Vikings history, educational.
Please don't take this the wrong way. You've got a Viking look about you. So is this a hereditary thing?
What, having a Viking look about you?
Well, there's plenty of people, but are you a Viking family?
Yeah, I mean we like to divide our time equally between raping, pillaging, and plundering.
Should we take it from the top?
Yeah.
Boom!
I was going to say, if there are any other police listening, Sting, I've told you, leave us alone. We don't want you.
Oh, who's the singer?
So yeah, we're going to do that. Do you know what? I've never done one of those ancestry tests. At some point, I will. And I've always made an assumption that I'm a Viking, despite no one else in my family looking like a Viking. My mum's side of the family are all quite dark.
So that'll be the beer then.
That'll be the beer then.
Yeah, you'll come up quite a high percentage of beer, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
is that how it works?
That's how it
is
works.
That what
yeah.
it is? Is that what you're talking about? I don't really know what an ancestor test is.
They test your blood. It's a bit like a breathalyzer. Tells you what percentage you are Portuguese and what percentage you are alcohol.
Yeah. That's
what about the cherry percentage?
Yeah, the cherry percentage, 6.7% cherry.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm assuming. I'd like to think that that I've got the Viking roots, but I think it's probably going to come back and it's going to go English, and I reckon there's a bit of French in there or something to account for my mum's side of the family, who are on the darker side.
I think I've got a little Swedish.
Your mother, Marie Antoinette.
Yeah. Yeah. When
I
I say
got a
they're
little
when I say they're on the darker side, my mum's paternal grandfather was Darth Vader.
Darth Vader, yeah.
Yeah.
Which-
Yeah.
I think I've had a little Swedish in me.
Go on.
That's it. I've just got a little
yeah,
Swedish
yeah.
in me.
Good.
Oh,
Yeah.
what's that footballer? Thomas
Nan
Zlatan.
Risseroy,
Zlatan.
Ibrahimovic.
Hey,
Yeah.
Bram, yeah.
No, him, Bram. And if host number 2 were a horror monster, he'd be Freddy Krueger, a larger-than-life character who, and I know I've said it before, but I cannot stress this enough, is a fucking nightmare. It's Michael Jameson.
Yeah, quite good.
Yeah.
He was a paedophile as well, actually, wasn't he?
Killer. I don't know if...
Yeah,
paedophile.
paedophile. Yeah,
Was he a paedophile?
yeah, famously a paedophile. That's why he died, because all of the parents of the people that he fiddled burnt him. That's how he died.
Yeah, I know that they burnt him. We'll ask our guest in a minute, because I think he probably knows quite a lot about horror.
Sorry, what were you saying? We'll ask. I've just told you.
I'm just.
Oh, cool. I'm a liar then. Right, there we go. Got us off to a good start. Well, yeah. Happy Halloween, everyone. This is scary, isn't it?
Listen.
Friends don't trust you.
I'm just saying that. Accusing people of a crime like that, it sticks. Like, even if he's found innocent, like, he'll always be known as Pedo Kruger. So you need to make sure that you got your facts right before you start throwing around allegations.
Yeah, fair.
You know?
I saw it, mate. I saw it happen.
And you didn't stop it. Cool. And finally, every good horror needs a great hero. Our guest is cooler than Father Karras with Ash's chainsaw hand and Rowdy Roddy Piper's sunglasses. From the band Spooky Forest and the podcast Metal Gear Mondays, it's Warren, the Music Man Minix.
Hi. Well, that was very nice of you to say.
I mean, I could make a pedophile joke if you want. So I did it with the other two.
Yeah, no, that's totally fine. I prefer to stand on my plateau over here. My little pedestal is doing great. Pedo-free.
Pedo-free.
Why is the pedestal low? Is it so that they can reach you?
The pedestal or the pedo stool?
Oh, there it is.
Love it. I love it. But to confirm, Nate, it's all alleged, of course. But it is all alleged. It was believed that Frederick Krueger was the janitor that would, quote unquote, diddle kids.
Did he diddle?
Allegedly.
Okay, I knew he
never confirmed.
Right. Okay, I knew that he interfered with kids in some ways, but I wasn't sure if it was sexual or not.
Oh my god!
Now, a fun fact: as you get further into that franchise, you also learn that Freddy's mom was raped by 100 maniacs.
Absolutely, yeah.
Wow, nice.
That's confirmed. Now that's confirmed.
She was, yeah, that's canon. She was a nun, right? Yeah. Yeah, that was in 3. Dream Warriors.
No, Dream Warriors is the last one to not pay attention to all that nonsense, because that's when the franchise really took big shit. If you ask me.
Three's the one. I mean, we're going to get into horror movies later anyway, but 3's the one in the hospital, right?
3 is the one, yeah. Well, it's like
and that's where you find out.
It's like a clinic, yeah, like where they are all there for getting over whatever trauma they've gone through. Some of them have, like parental issues. Some have sleep paralysis. Some have everything. So they use their dreams to basically unlock their hidden power to fix their illness or defeat Freddy.
And
weird about this is that I watched them all like 10 years ago or so, and I don't remember that whatsoever.
Yeah, all you remember is "Welcome to Prime Time, bitch."
Yeah,
that's all you remember.
Pouring the coffee into the Coke can at the beginning. Yeah, I don't really remember the franchise past 3 as well. I remember snippets of it, but up to 3, I'm still fairly...
Nice pun.
You don't need to.
Yeah,
you don't need to.
No, correct.
Confirmed. That's confirmed.
Absolutely not. Anyway, I mean, this is a food podcast, and we're just talking about 80s.
Yeah, we're normally pretty focused.
Yeah, we are normally. We're normally done by now, really. Warren.
Yes.
How are you?
I'm doing good.
Yeah.
It's an interesting time in the United States, as it is coming upon election season. So, Go ahead. Feel free to ask.
No, I'm not going to ask. I'm not going to ask your allegiances. I probably have an idea, but I would never put anyone on the spot. But
What's your allegiance? Who you voted for? Have you voted yet?
Oh, we talked about him earlier. Darth Vader. I'm a big fan.
Not the worst candidate, probably. Who do you expect to win?
Oh boy.
Not who you want to win. Put that aside. But who do you actually think that come? What date is the actual announcement? What date is it?
The intent is November 3rd, but we'll see how many people are. There are a few states that have already passed legislation that may count votes up to 72 hours after Election Day.
Okay.
Based on the mail system, as it were.
So the end of next week, realistically,
yeah. First time in. I mean, I'm no historian, but it's going to be the first time in history that it wasn't decided that day if that actually happens.
Mm-hmm.
So I have no idea. I mean, I'll tell you right now, I think based on my personal experience in the Northeast, which is very different from a lot of my country, I do feel confident that Biden and Kamala Harris will win. I won't believe it's a landslide as the stock markets believe per se, but I do think that our boy Donnie has, pardon my French, but fucked up enough to piss off enough people is where my understanding goes. My money doesn't matter because I work for a private company, so I'm going to be making money regardless.
And that's all that matters.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's very interesting because obviously we get stuff over here about the US position and whatnot. But realistically, a lot of unless you're a real political nerd and are paying attention to a lot, it's hard to tell from this side of the pond what the feeling is over there in terms of the expected result, I guess. Yeah. Because I'm happy to put myself in the position and say I can't understand why anybody would fucking vote for Trump. Now, I apologise if that offends you if you are a Trump supporter. But
I don't.
No, I similarly don't.
Well, I was talking to Warren specifically, but
I don't.
Yeah, also
I don't think they give a shit.
So yeah, if anyone is happy to vote for Trump, then I'm happy to not worry about offending them. That's my personal stance and does not represent.
I think the one good thing about this election is that I think this is the first time that the American public have ever been asked to turn out en masse and choose their favourite rapist.
Decent.
What have I done?
They're both. I mean, they're both appalling. They're both appalling human beings, aren't they?
It is mental that the Democrats were like, right, Donald Trump, we need to pick someone who's good, and the best they had is Joe Biden. And nothing against him, but fucking hell, as an outsider who knows very little about American politics. Yeah. Is that the best you got? Fucking hell, that's like...
Do you think Colonel Sanders will ever get another go?
He's dead, mate. Oh.
Kick the bucket.
Oh.
But yeah, I will say if I've learned anything in my adulthood with all this, especially recently, is just fuck, I need to pay more attention to politics because it is kind of a blessing, and it's getting to the point where it's like, just go out and vote because I'm 50-50 on this is the last time we may be able to vote in a democracy. That's where my head is starting to get to.
Yeah.
Which is bananas, but I really was not like that 3 years ago, 2 years ago.
No.
And here we are. And if someone told me that was believed to happen, I couldn't argue why it wouldn't. Let's put it that way. I may not know anything about it, but I couldn't disagree. I could believe it as much as the next guy. Scary
shit.
When he has legit threatened to not step down, hasn't he? If the vote doesn't 100%. Go his way, he has threatened that. So
yeah, he said he may not accept the result,
but people will still vote for him, which is insane.
Yeah, it's just.
Oh no, no matter which may not accept, he will not.
Yeah.
There's no may. There's no. It's already decided. It's an issue.
Crazy.
Yeah,
he is a fucking lunatic.
Yeah. Nice hair though.
Lovely.
Oh yeah. Well, I figured, so I brought up the election. You talked about the scariest.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Listen, let's move on to something cheerier.
Sure.
How's your year of lockdown been?
Actually, not so bad. The only downside is the band really, it is a struggle to basically feel like anything's normal. Even the writing process is not. It sucks. I mean, I love technology. The fact that I can talk with you guys, and we can do this. We can gel. We can write. But it's just not. It's not the same as cracking something out in person and like literally vibing off of someone. It's just not there. We do have some stuff that we're working on. We're almost finished up. A good set of stuff that we're going to be able to bring out and try to attack things. But like the Northeast and New Jersey particularly the rules are so strict right now that, like I said, it's hard to go like 5 miles from my house to cross the bridge to go to Pennsylvania, the next state over, because if their rules lax, I have to quarantine for 14 days.
Wow.
Damn.
I really don't want to do that because I like my personal time. I like my vacation time. I like making money at my job. But yeah, so it's been frustrating there. But otherwise, like family stuff, as far as my personal safety or any of the stuff going on, I have not really struggled with any of that. The job was only a struggle because of who I sell product to, not because of the actual disease that's spreading over.
Yeah.
But no, it's actually been like a pretty solid year. We've just done a lot of house renovations, and I joined a podcast, which I'm sure we'll eventually do something with that. Just found a lot more free time to at least explore some other routes, and maybe later in the podcast I will be releasing something early next year, and maybe I'll make this podcast the first time I've said it publicly.
Wow.
What tonight?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Love it.
All right. Oh, this is.
I think I'm going to do it. I made that call at like 3:00 my time, and I was like, I think I'm going to do it because I like personal accountability. So I'm working on it now.
Love it.
Like first steps, and the goal was to get it out in about 3 months. So now I'm going to have personal accountability before the night's over.
Okay. Nice.
Wicked.
You mentioned there the podcast.
Yeah.
What is it? What podcast is that, Warren?
Well, so a couple of guys and a couple of girls get in front of microphones and have conversations about it. I didn't know if you knew that.
Yeah, it's okay. We know what a podcast is. You're on one right this second. I don't know if you noticed. But what is your podcast?
So the podcast I am part of is I am the host of Metal Gear Mondays, which is at the moment is a bi-weekly podcast literally dedicated to the Metal Gear Solid series and the Metal Gear franchise. So even the NES titles, the PSP titles. I recently became a part of it this year. They are doing a solid reboot, and we are doing every game chronologically in order. And we have basically for every 2 hours of gameplay is an episode. So we try to break it down, and we do character-focused stuff. The podcast itself has been around for about 5 years, and I've been a longtime fan of them. And only recently have I asked to have been a part of it. And we just now finished up Metal Gear Solid 3. So we are on to Game 2, which will start sometime next year is the plan. We try to do seasonal stuff, so one game a year, and then we do off-season stuff. So we can kind of keep it fresh. It's not just all Metal Gear all the time, because that shit can wear you out if you guys are Kojima fans.
Yeah. Yeah, like you say, you've been doing a few things over this month with the horror, which I was very fortunate to be a part of. Came on as to talk about Oxenfree, which I think I mentioned on the podcast a couple of weeks ago couple of podcasts ago with the Dyson Decider boys.
Mm-hmm. I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was a great time. Really enjoyed myself over there. Got a lovely. You run a very tight ship. Our podcast here is just. I'm not going to say it's full anarchy because I don't want to be that guy that goes, "Oh, look at us, we're so wacky." Because people that describe themselves as wacky are usually stupid.
I mean, I am wacky.
Yeah, you are wacky, but you don't describe yourself as wacky.
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't. It's one of the first things I'll say about myself. But for example, if someone came up to me and said, "Are you wacky?" I wouldn't immediately say, no. I'd say, "Yeah, I'm wacky." I suppose you could.
You'd probably just point at the keyboard tie.
Yeah.
And
spin your propeller hat.
Yeah, exactly. Which he does actually have.
I don't own any of what you're saying.
Just by that. But no, you run a very, in the best way possible, regimented tightly run little ship over there, and it was I really enjoyed myself. Really, really good, and your co-hosts are great people. So yeah, if you've got a passing interest in Metal Gear Solid games, then I would 100% recommend heading over there and listening. It's not my thing. I never really dive with that franchise. MJ, are you into those?
I'm trying to think of I've ever seriously played any. I've played like Michael had it, and so I've played it in that regard, like 2. But I don't think I've ever played it myself. Any of them.
Fair.
Wow, that's wild.
Yeah.
For being a the video game fan that at least through social media and listening to the podcast, I'm surprised at least somewhere in there because it's great music, great gameplay. Like
it is surprising.
Why do you hate the games? And more importantly,
why am I being kicked off this podcast, Mike?
Why do you hate Warren in his podcast?
I've played as him in Super Smash Brothers. That probably sort of counts. I've played as Metal Gear Solid in Super Smash Brothers.
You played as Metal Gear Solid?
Yeah, it's the guy with the bandana, isn't it?
Yeah, Cardboard Box Mike. I know, yeah, of course.
That stuff. You were obviously on the call-in show that we did back in July.
Yeah.
So you're one of a very small group of people who have been on more than one FRUK Unwrapped in a year. So kudos to you. At the time, we mentioned obviously the big, thankings that we have for you for the music that you've submitted to our lowly podcast. And if Stuart's doing his job correctly, he will have almost certainly edited in all of your works on this episode. Right, Stuart?
No pressure to do so.
I imagine so, yeah.
Yeah, it'd be stupid not to, really, wouldn't it?
Correct.
Oh, stupid, Christ.
Yeah, rude, but yeah.
Called you a rapist earlier, didn't he?
Do you enjoy the music making process when it comes to little jingles and stuff like that? How does that compare to like quote unquote proper music?
That's a good question. I think it's fun only because, at least in my experience as a musician and a writer, I would say, because I'm much more of like I'm the mortar as opposed to the brick kind of a thing. I mean, I'm a bass player, so you guys figure it out. But when it comes to like a sounder or something, if there's like a fun little hook, and then I just do anything I can to make it bananas so that the hook stands out more, then I'm just going to do that every time. And sounders are great because you can just cut them into 30-second bits, and then it's just the hook. Mm-hmm. So I like that part of it, if I'm being honest. It just lets you do like some of the silly stuff that you maybe would just push off to the shelf because it's too obvious or it doesn't make sense in a pop song or something like that. It doesn't fit that void. But a food podcast where they play games like Quivia, yeah, of course, fuck yeah. That's what I like about that. So
obviously Stuart does the music for this podcast as well as FRUK Unwrapped, brilliant, as well as Food Review UK, Dyson Desire, all that sort of things. Sort of same question to you, Stuart. Like how, and to you, Warren, both of you really, like when it comes to the jingles and when it comes to the fun little quick songs, is it more that you get an idea and you go from there, or do you actually sit down and think about what type of song you want to write? I don't know if I'm phrasing that question correctly. Like, I guess what I'm trying to say is it that you have that idea instantly in your head that you then try and work around, or is it something where you actually sit down and want to try and write music and then think of how you're going to compose it?
Certainly for me, it's a kind of 50-50 thing. I imagine Warren's the same as I am in that you've constantly got music going around your head, and you've constantly got this internal soundtrack of silly little melodies, lyrical ideas, whatever, chord progressions, and your natural resting mind state is just music playing. So sometimes I'll have ideas, but inevitably what happens is when I sit down, that idea has disappeared. But I've got a But what I remember is a kind of rough idea of a feeling, or maybe a tiny fragment of melody. So what tends to happen for me is I'll literally sit down, I'll pick up an instrument, and I will make some kind of noise, and from that, hopefully, I'll get some inspiration. For the Dyson Desire stuff, most of the time it comes from a lyrical idea. I'll have a little lyrical idea. I'll play around with it in my mind, and then I'll just sit down and throw some music together. But there's always something going on.
Yeah, I can definitely attest to that. I think the one when it came to the the Royal Crumble.
Yeah.
I honestly was not planning on writing anything until like the last 3 minutes of the episode, and you guys just started rapping. And I was like, well, I mean, that's what you do, right? You just continue the end of the episode to the song that's going to be the next thing that has Royal Crumble attached to it. And I am a terrible rapper, so I love to put that on mic as many times as I can. So I definitely was like, all right, I'll keep it at this rate, and I'll try to come up with the most ridiculous Royal Rumble style hip hop thing over top of it, because that's not really, if you're just doing it for fun, it's not that difficult to get a good beat to freestyle over.
No.
That was a great song, though. I don't know if was that the first one you submitted to us? I can't remember.
Yeah,
but
that was the first thing I submitted. I didn't even. Yeah. I just sent it. Was like, hey, if you guys want to play this, that'd be cool. Like, you don't have to. I just wanted to let you guys know you're rapping at the end of that episode made me write a song, and here we are.
Yeah, and it was just like, I remember. I do genuinely remember opening up the email and listening. And I was like, oh my god, this is incredible, and just sent it on to the other guys, and great little jingle. And it's a shame that it was only really that one episode that it got a proper chance to be aired, but fantastic regardless.
I'm the king of the one-off. Bring it in, you bring it out, get moving.
You said there, before we briefly move on, you mentioned there about the rap. When I came on to Metal Gear Mondays, I think during the B-roll, you mentioned about your rap that featured on the New Year song that Stuart did at the beginning of this year, and how you didn't quite read the remit for what the song should be, and you sort of submitted a rap that sort of wasn't really in time, wasn't fitting
so
with the rest
it
of the
was
song.
In time, but it was on the 2, not the 1, or I guess it was on the 3, not the 4, and it had nothing to do with food. I just thought Stu just wanted to freestyle at 140 beats per minute, so I was like, okay, whatever you need, man.
It was good.
I know, but it was just, you could tell it's an early start on purpose. But then I was like, oh shit, it needed to be very obvious, like Thomas the Tank Engine. Let's sing about some Food Review UK. And I was like, let me reach my heart out and write a poem for you.
It was brilliant. I remember listening and thinking, fair enough. I mean, it's good rap, just weird. And then the fact that you mentioned it when I came on your show, I was like, I can't let this not come this story not come onto the FRUK Unwrapped wave. So
sure, but it's okay. Like I said, I sent it out. It's recorded, so I will own up to it. I want to put it in the landfill and try to burn it.
Accountability, as you said a minute ago.
Indeed, yes.
So is that something you want to announce, the actual details, or are you giving us specific? Are you just giving us vague?
Oh no, I'll give you when the time comes. I guess whenever it feels right. I can give you a little 1-2 minute. It won't have to be anything.
Oh, we'll do it at the end when we're signing that. If probably a suitable time to do that. Right. You are, like I say, you have been on the podcast before, but you've not had the full podcast treatment. So that first time on the show, proper first time on the show, means Random Questions, season 1. As a long-time listener, 3 numbers, please, between 1 and 10.
I gotta go. I'll start with number 8.
8. Food heaven and food hell.
Heaven, food, hell. Okay, food heaven. Are you guys familiar with something called a Panzerotti?
No.
Lovely car.
So Panzerotti. So Panzerotti is, I'm trying to think of the best way. It's its own recipe, but it is essentially a deep fried pizza turnover.
Ooh.
Oh.
but it is not a calzone, obviously. So it has it's a very flaky, like crunchy, like hear it when you bite into it, kind of a crust, and then it's just cheese and red sauce inside, and it's deep fried to temperature, and you have to get a Tarantini panzerotti. Like, it can't be called a panzerotti if it's not attached to Tarantini. And if you really want to be special, like I had a friend who used to run a pizza shop, he'd cut open the panzerottis and he could get some breaded chicken in there, maybe put some buffalo sauce just to like zest it up, and then deep fry that. I would say a panzerotti. And again, if you're from the Northeast, you would know. Like, even most of the United States doesn't know.
So is that a dough casing then, or is that pastry?
Dough casing.
Yeah,
you still use pizza dough essentially, but again, Tarantini, it's a particular recipe, but it is still doughy as opposed to a pastry.
You know what? I just find it. Stuart, MJ, have you heard of this before?
No, Mum.
I just find it funny that there's like how much good foods out there that you just never even heard of, let alone tried.
Yeah.
Like, especially somewhere like America, we're although we're in England, we are brought up on American culture, and we know a lot of the foods and a lot of the traditions and cuisines and all that sort of stuff in America. So for something like this to have completely escaped our notice is quite impressive.
Oh God, these look so good.
Yeah, they do look good.
Oh, they are incredible.
So any listeners are obviously able to go and Google it and have a look. But I mean, just for podcast purposes, looking at it, to me they look almost like a bit like a Cornish pasty in some ways, which is why I asked about why I asked whether it was dough or pastry. They sort of got that sort of shape.
Yeah.
A bit thinner, look a little bit smaller than a calzone.
Yeah,
I don't know if they
usually like a little bit bigger than like the size of your fist. It's like a standard size.
Yeah,
so it's like you could put your fist in one and it'd be wrapped around. Like, that's about how big they are. It's usually like 1.5 slices of pizza deep fried, without obviously the pizza part. But it's basically the same way. It's mozzarella, red sauce, oil. It's all the good stuff.
It's a pizza pocket, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean it's the best case scenario for all the flavors you want from something from there, because I just don't know anybody. Because I live outside of Philadelphia, so obviously it's all cheesesteaks is what you talk about, or Philadelphia pretzels. But panzerottis, for some reason, they very rarely cross the bridge outside of South Jersey. I mean, even some North Jersey people have no idea what I'm talking about, which is bananas. They are that good.
Would these be? Would you have these as a meal, or are these like a street food that you just sort of you'd have on the go type thing?
I'd have it as dessert. To be honest, I'd eat it anytime. They're so good. Honestly, they are big enough to be a meal, but usually if you wanted to get wild, you would have like that and some fries. If you just want to go, double down. But yeah, you could do. It's like, the problem is it's hard to be like a food truck sort of thing, if that's something that happens in the UK very much. Just because of they're hard to sort of fill with other ingredients. You just sort of have the panzerotti and then you just drop it on a plate. It's hard to keep other stuff with it. But usually you go to a pizza shop, something like that, and if they have that option, you usually get that with fries, or just another, like a cup of marinara, and just drop it in there, give it a little extra flavor. But they are quite good. So if you guys are ever in my neck of the woods, we will be getting panzerottis.
Are they a health hazard? I imagine that they're piping hot.
Oh, absolutely. If you're smart, though, if they're done right, when you bite into it, one of the sides or the back releases the pocket of the hot air, as opposed to where you're biting.
MJ's got a pocket of hot air.
Hey.
What about your food hell?
Food hell. I'm gonna be honest, and I think I'm gonna say like sweet onions for me. I don't.
Sweet onions.
I guess like yellow onions, so not white onions. I guess yellow onions are more of the sweeter option of the main 3, I guess, or 4. They add them to things that need it. It's either too crunchy or too slimy. They never seem to be right where you want them in the middle. So if I had to be picky, like if you tried to make a salad or try to make a cheesesteak and put onions on it, and it was those kind of onions, it wouldn't work for me. I wouldn't need the crunch with my cheesesteak or my salad. So
I don't like onions in cheesesteak or anything like that.
Or any food. Where are you on Onion Watch, MJ? Are you dead against all onions in all?
Oh no, dead on them if anything.
Just not in burgers.
Yeah, just raw onions in salads, burgers, that sort of thing. I'm not into. I quite happily order grilled onions on things, or in cooking, they're obviously hugely important. That sort of thing. But yeah, no, raw in things where you can taste them, and I find them quite overpowering.
I do like onions. Really like probably one of my favourite foods.
Here's a question to you, Stuart, because I've often thought about this, because you see some people on the internet doing these things. Do you think you could eat an onion?
Yeah, probably. Almost certainly a red onion without much. I don't think I'd enjoy it. A raw onion.
No.
I have eaten like a whole cooked onion before. As a meal when I was a child. I cooked an onion for myself. Whole baked it.
What was your mother doing at the time?
I think she was probably at work.
Were you doing an impression of her at work?
What would she have said?
She said, Stuart, man, why are you eating an onion on its own? Why don't you cook it up with a nice bit of peas pudding or something?
Peas pudding.
Traditionally northern. How are you, man? Stuart, man. How are you?
Yeah.
That's my multi-purpose impression that works for Sarah Milliken, my mother, and Shelby.
Probably a little bit of Callum Johnson's.
Probably a bit of, yeah. Oh, how weird, man. Gaffer, do I have to play left back? I'm a canny good, right? They call me the Cal Fu of League One, because I'm a canny good right back. I'm not as good on the left bar. How weird, man, Gaffer, man. How weird.
Hi, Callum, if you're listening. Two more numbers.
Sure. Let's cut that down the middle. Let's go number 3.
3.
Marry, fuck, kill.
Ooh.
Breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Marry, fuck, kill. Breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And to clarify, because we've had a bit of confusion with other people when I've asked this question, which of these would you like to marry? Which of them would you like to fuck? And which of them would you like to kill?
So I'm trying to think of it as kill means I'll never have it again, right? I would assume it's gone. Marry would be something I have with me always.
Yeah.
And fuck would be the thing I bring her out on Friday nights after a long night. So I guess I would probably kill lunch. Unfortunately, I'll miss her. I will. But lunch, I'll marry dinner, and I'll, of course, take her out to dinner first, and then I'll fuck breakfast.
Yeah,
you'll take dinner out to dinner.
Take breakfast
out to dinner.
Oh, breakfast out to dinner.
Yeah. Before, of course.
Yeah. Nice. Gentleman. Of course.
Yeah. And plus, you wouldn't kiss and tell.
I like that one. I don't hear that one a lot. The night fuck kill. Give me number 4.
Number 4, always effective. A food from your childhood that you miss. I had this one in a long time.
My childhood,
if there is indeed anything.
Yeah, I can't say the man's body. So here's what I'll say. It's not really. I miss it because I don't do it anymore, and I feel like it's not the same. But I used to get fried, and I used to dip them in honey when I was younger. I used to love that. I would take fries, like French fries, and I would dip them in honey.
MJ, he's part of your crew. This is going to be weird when people listen to this episode, listen to the next episode in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, I love the sound of that.
Yeah, it's salty, it's sweet. It's not too much because honey isn't usually overpowering if you're smart with how it's either made or how much you put on your fry. But
let me tell you, my friend,
Yeah.
Bust out the bees. Honey's still available, my mate.
There you go.
Don't let adulthood stop you.
I know it, but it really has. I think looking back, it's been probably 20 years since I've had it. But it used to be something that was instead of chocolate or ice cream or something, like my sweet treat would have been get some French fries and honey. That was like my go-to.
Do it. Redo it.
I think I'm gonna have to. I'll send it in the Facebook group.
Yes.
Yeah, please.
Some
MJ,
fries and honey.
you obviously like caramel sauce. Is that exclusive with chicken though, or do you do that with fries? Would you do that?
Oh
with
yeah,
fries?
I do that with fries. Yeah, I mean one of my dips has got a honey element to it.
You gonna try flat out honey?
Yeah, I'd do that 100%. We're
Bit of
getting
manuka?
sent some honey soon actually, so I could do it with that.
Oh mate,
We're getting sent actually, yeah, we haven't received that yet. That's been quite a while since. Not quite a while, but
as a video, have you done trying all the sweet sauces? I feel like you have.
what do you mean?
Like doing like I don't know, getting a chocolate sauce, a honey, a caramel, so like getting a load of different dessert sauces,
sorry.
or sweet sauces, and then dip. I feel like you have done that as well.
Yeah, I did do something similar to that really recently. What was it? Was it McDonald's? Oh, it was a byproduct of a McNugget video. I just can't remember which one. Let me have a look.
While you do that, I'll move on with our guest.
No, you're all right. Oh yeah,
No.
so the video's called McNuggets in Dessert Sauces.
There we go.
So sort of. I did three.
It could have been more accurate. Oh yeah, blinding light, perfect. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Good thumbnail that.
If you're looking at the screen, Warren, I don't know if you've seen that in honour of you, I've done a
I know, I love it, man. It's fantastic.
little Metal Gear Monday.
Appreciate that.
Oh, with all of that frivolity out of the way, let's get on to a little round of a game that I like to call Quivia.
Damn. We're recording a good podcast tonight. I don't know about you, but it feels prime time for some Quivia. The lights are low, the mood is set. The conditions are perfect for a quiz and some trivia to make sweet, sweet, sweet love. Now Nate is gonna read some facts in the form of a question, and MJ better know how to act. Ooh, Nate, that last one you read was sounding tight. And that guest you got on, oh, are they sounding right? My money's on Stu if I had to bet, because he's great. Chocolate sauce. But it's all just fun and games, I guess. Cause it's a game. Strawberry rhubarb. If I could, I'd dip you in a vat of some delicious drips. But Quivia ain't got time for that. Cause it's a game and we're guessing. Quivia. Man, does that shit sound tasty. I wanna dip my fingers in it and lick underneath the fingernails in like a sexy but not gross sort of way. It's a little harder knowing that you've given me proper and adequate consent for my advances. Next up, your face is the best place for first base. I really just want to eat a sandwich and a burger. So delicious.
I'll do that musically because I've got a musical guest and Stuart.
As well as Stuart.
As well as Stuart. Well, he's not a guest, is he? He's a host.
Yeah, sorry, I took that offensively, but then I realised what you meant.
Stuart is my co-host. Is the only co-host that I have.
Second best person on the podcast, hands down.
Yeah, plus returning guest MJ.
Sort of.
Do you know what? Interesting.
So-
Which of you two has hosted the show more often in terms of like lead?
Of course it's Stuart.
I imagine it'd be me. Is it? MJ's only really hosted a couple. I've maybe
like
done
2 or 3.
I've done 5 or 6, I think.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Didn't realise you'd done as many as that, Stuart. Anyway.
Wow, he's slagging you off tonight,
Yeah,
Stuart.
a bit, innit?
quite a lot. I'm getting like the vibes.
Yeah.
Let me just call Chris Clemens and I'll attack him as well. Right, Quivia.
You haven't tried ruining Onward for him in the last half hour, actually, but fucking hell.
Right, Quivia. Tonight is all about Halloween. We're an hour in, and just in case you've forgotten,
we talked about Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, we did.
You called me a liar. Do you remember that?
I didn't call you a liar. I just said I'd like to get the information corroborated by a knowledgeable person. Tonight's got questions about horror, Halloween.
Most famous paedophiles.
Three.
Yes.
These are largely world records, but a couple of them aren't. So bear that in mind. And it's just closest wins. Just closest wins. That's all it is. Closest wins. Guessing game for Stuart. I'm going to start with Warren. Question 1. Largest gathering of people dressed as ghosts. World record.
I'll comfortably say 2 million people.
2 million people.
2 million?
Yep.
That seems
insane.
No. Listen. It's a number. It's a number. I should have quantified in the same location. Stuart.
17,000.
And Michael Jameson.
20,000.
20,000.
Scum.
Close enough that I can't be close enough that it's still the trick, but far away enough that I can deny that I'm doing the trick.
Stuart.
Nathan.
Longest walk-through horror attraction.
Oh.
And we're doing this in feet.
And Wales doesn't count, no.
We're doing this in feet.
Yeah.
No, so, quite like Wales.
It's 3,000.
Should have said Manchester. No, Manchester's not.
York.
3,000, 3,000, 6,000. So 15,000 feet.
15,000 feet. Did I just get something from you, MJ? Did you just send something through?
Yeah, I sent some images on the Skype call, but you don't need to read it out loud because I don't want to derail the podcast.
Okay.
You probably don't send the images in the first place then. You've derailed the podcast now.
15,000 feet, Stuart?
Yeah.
Okay. MJ?
3 miles in feet. 15,840. Sorry, Stuart.
And Warren?
I was comfortably going to say 2 million, but we'll say 20,000 is where my head was initially.
20,000 feet. Okie dokie. Question 3 to MJ. Fastest time to carve 1 ton of pumpkins.
1 ton.
Not a wonton.
Oh, sorry. Right. Oh, pumpkin. Right.
Yeah. A solitary ton.
Solitary ton. The amount of time, minutes.
Yeah. The fastest.
1 ton. Well, to carve 1 ton, that'd take about 53 minutes.
53 minutes.
Yeah.
Of a ton.
They got a chainsaw, I assume, right?
That cheers with blunt spoon. Warren.
2,000 pounds of pumpkins. Could be a 25-man team. Could be a 4-year-old.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
I'll say.
For the record, it is 1 man.
You said it was a pumpkin.
Good gag.
I would say, I'll say an hour, 90 minutes.
How long, sorry?
90 minutes, an hour and a half.
90 minutes. And Stuart.
When Wonton hears about this, he's going to have my arse.
What did MJ say? 53 minutes?
53, and Warren said 90.
52.
Ooh, the undercut.
Interesting. Question 4. We'll move away from world records now. Dracula is the most portrayed horror character of all time.
False.
Do you want to put a numerical value on that? 0. But as of 2014, when there was a survey, brilliant survey, approximately how many feature films had he been in at that point? I appreciate we're 6 years down the line since then, so just work backwards from what you know now.
Knock that off the total.
Yeah, Warren.
Well, based on Abraham Lincoln Vampire Slayer alone, I guess it's got to be something like 1,100 films.
2 million films. Stuart.
324.
324. And Michael.
I genuinely thought it would be around 500, so I'm going to say 587.
Okey-dokey. Last question. In popular song Monster Mash,
Correct.
how many times is the word mash used? And we're starting with Stuart.
It's going to take about 3 minutes. Tempo. It's about 140, 150 BPM. Mash on average once every 2 bars. It's probably 2.5 minute song. That means it is about 120 times.
Okay. Michael.
62.
And Warren.
I said 108.
108. Okay.
Nate's reacting.
Here we go. Right, let's go for the answers. Largest gathering of people dressed as ghosts. You'll be surprised that it's a little bit less than 2 million. It's actually only 560 people.
Pathetic.
Wow.
Pathetic.
Yeah. At Mercy School Montauk in Ireland, March 2017. It was to demonstrate the invisibility of arthritis.
They
and
did
that's
a good
not even
job.
a joke. I'm not even joking that they did this.
The silent killer.
Yeah.
Arthritis.
Oh, we need to.
All I'm saying is, FRUK community, we can do better than that, right?
But arthritis actually
570
exists.
people per ghost.
More,
Yeah.
do you know we more or less can? If only the bloody COVID wasn't stopping us getting together, we could do it tomorrow. Oh,
Guys, what do we do?
It's a bummer.
What do we do to try and raise awareness of this terrible thing that people have got that's invisible? I know. Let's pretend that they're dead.
Yeah, I've heard of stiff body, but this is ridiculous.
next week I'm actually doing an egg and spoon race for fibromyalgia. So,
what was that? Sorry, what did you say? Fibromyalgia, is that
it's like an invisible.
Yeah, it's an egg.
It's a joke.
Longest walk through horror attractions in feet.
Don't care.
Sorry, who won that first bit?
I did, but it doesn't matter because no one laughed at my joke.
I laughed at it. I was on mute though.
No, you said 2 million.
What?
Yeah, of course.
Warren saying he laughed at your
I
joke.
was the closest by far.
Yeah. He said
I also
2.
laughed at your joke. Yeah, I got a bigger laugh.
Yeah. Where's your cut-off point? 2. 6,344 feet at the Pure Terror Scream Park in Monroe, New York. So you're all well off again. Fastest time to carve 1 ton of pumpkins. It's not like you're not even trying, if I'm honest. Steve Clark in Atlantic City, October 2008. 3 hours, 33 minutes and 49 seconds. I mean, it's a ton of pumpkins. 52 minute.
Some pumpkins are quite big, and it didn't specify the level of
detail.
I was thinking
they were like 40-pound pumpkins, so it's 50 pumpkins, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But I think I got that one. Yeah. I think I got
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Well done, Warren.
Hey.
He probably used
right.
he probably used the Dremel.
So I'm a bit embarrassed
All
because
about the bass. No Dremel.
again, very
You're laughing
stupidly.
at that, but you're not laughing at my egg and spoon race for fibromyalgia.
Well, so I've done a typical MJ thing, and I've done something very stupid. So I was envisioning one very big pumpkin, and my mind didn't even question where did they get such a massive pumpkin. Yeah, that's stupid. I'm stupid.
Yeah, this happened in Halloween Town.
Yeah. Dracula is the most portrayed horror character of all time, but as of 2014, he was in 155 films.
Fuck off! He's in way more than that.
Are you serious?
Apparently so. It was a bit difficult to find anything post 2014. Like when I look now, it's like more than 200 is all it says. It doesn't actually give a specific.
Really? Why?
Yeah,
I
so
feel like that's a very small number. Maybe
Yeah,
it's
I
just
think that's cool.
maybe Dracula himself.
Yeah,
Vampires.
vampires easily a lot more than that, but Dracula himself. But yeah, I sort of think it's quite surprised that it's that low. I think he's only second overall in feature films behind. Anyone want to guess?
The Invisible Man?
Yeah, he's in every
570 people.
He's in every single film.
Father Christmas. No.
No.
A
He'd put-
horror monster.
No. Any character.
Any character.
Vin Diesel.
Is he a
Playing
character?
himself.
There must be that many Fast and Furious films, aren't there? Oh no, he wasn't in Fast and Furious 3, was he?
What's
So that's the
He
problem.
was actually.
Yeah.
quite a lot of Jack Ryan
He was in
films.
3, yeah. He wasn't in 2.
Oh, that's right, he wasn't in. Yeah, he showed up in like the Stinger.
Yeah.
On through. Was it like Santa Claus?
No, it's not Santa Claus.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, I'm going to say Santa Claus as well, actually.
Okay.
God, Jesus.
Okay.
Jesus.
Oh,
Ooh.
Jesus.
Fictional characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, Jesus.
Yeah.
It's Sherlock Holmes, anyway.
Is it?
Wow.
How did they find him? No, that's stupid.
Oh, God.
Where's Wally? It's right here.
The Monster Mash, the word mash is used. You've only 34 times.
What?
He did the map. Who said that?
You said 62, so you won that one, MJ.
So just clarify,
he did the math.
The
You
lead.
know what it was? I feel like it's a 3-part harmony doing the Monster Mash, so I just added 3
Yeah,
for every time.
that's
For each
what-
harmony. That's what it was.
Can I
There's-
tell you? Can I
there's
tell
5.
you?
Go on.
So I actually was pretty close to that number. I thought it was about 34 or something. That was what I counted because I did 4 times the chorus, which is what, 6 or so times.
Yeah.
And then just these dickheads saying, "Oh yeah, it's about 150." I was like, "Oh, clearly I don't know the song as well as them. It must say it outside of the chorus repeatedly." I thought there was.
It's said 5 times. Sorry, it said no. It's said 6 times in 5 choruses, and then there's 4 random ones dotted in the song itself. So there you go, the winner, and he's back on top of the guessing game. It's Stuart. Well done, mate.
Not entirely sure you can call it a guessing game this week, Nathan. I think you'll find that most of those could be worked out with a little application of knowledge and some basic maths. So
Yeah, I suppose if you got a background in music, you would have got the last one as well.
and a background in ghost gatherings of ghosts for
That was
charity.
that was my big weak point. I mean, I would have probably fucking nailed the guessing game if I didn't throw that ghost question.
Or if you've
I
ever
just
seen
like
a pumpkin.
I'd just like to remind everyone who's listening as well, regardless of your beliefs or interests, it's not that I don't believe in ghosts. It's that they don't exist. Carry on.
You've used that one before, mate.
I use it all the time. I love it.
Yeah, it's very good. It's very good.
I like watching the belief in people's eyes drain out when I confirm the non-existence of ghosts. And I invigorate their lives because, I'm terrorised by a ghost in my house. It's moisture and temperature.
Why don't you just let them have their fun, man?
Yeah, exactly. Because
terrorised, didn't it? I'm helping people.
Yeah.
Nate here. If you're like me and have a dangerous amount of disposable income that you can't be trusted with, why not head on over to patreon.com and give some of it to your favourite food review channel and podcast provider. And while you're there, why not give us some money? Way! Nah, but seriously, patreon.com/food review UK. Help us get Gossy some new glasses or something. He looks ridiculous.
Right. Let's get into some spooky talk about Halloween. But remember that ghosts don't exist. So thanks for that, MJ.
Well,
This
they
exist
exist
in
in
the
fiction.
ankles right before we even get started.
Yeah, right. Do you want to shit on anything else about
Werewolves, Michael.
They don't exist, but they exist in fiction.
Vampires.
Again, exist in fiction.
Mummies.
Yeah, they're real.
There we go. Right, we found one. Let's talk
Okay.
about it.
What's your favourite mummy and why?
Tutankhamun, famous. Next.
Oh, he's only gone. He only likes the hits.
Yeah.
He doesn't.
Sorry, you're
Such a poser.
hipster mummy, are you?
Yeah, I like.
Who's your favourite?
Oh, it's probably Cheryl. You've probably not heard of her.
No, I haven't. You're right.
No.
Cheryl.
She's really good. She's really good.
Big in Egypt, is she?
She's pretty underground.
Shouldn't have gotten me as good as it did.
What genre is she? A rapper?
Oh no, I don't. You've ruined it. Right, Halloween. I'm going to ask a really random question. Really random question to kick this off. When is Halloween? Now, don't say October 31st. We know that. But like, when does quote unquote Halloween season start?
People near me have had decorations up since the start of October. Like, it's just turned into Christmas now, hasn't it? But in October.
Oh, October at the very latest it begins.
Yeah, that was my question. Now, obviously, this country, generally speaking, historically, it was very much maybe the last week of October, but we are seeing it getting a much bigger holiday than it's ever been. We've got an American on the show, which is much more useful to us in terms of the Halloween traditions, because obviously it's been a huge part of the American culture for such a long time. Warren, America, talk to us about Halloween and like when does it start? When's America's Halloween season really kick in? Is it the beginning of October? Is it earlier? Is it later?
I feel like at minimum it starts at the beginning of October.
Yeah.
If you were to ask me, I would say in my household, it's usually a week prior. We try to be up and ready by October 1st.
Love that.
But it also, like, again, we include, so it's decorations, it's movies, it's video games. Like, we do a whole thing to at least make it more than just, candy and candles. And we have our traditions. I think, at least that we like to do. I appreciate MJ's efforts there.
Yeah, he's really gone all out. Is it like how big is it? It seems like such a stupid question, but how big is Halloween in America? Like, it seems like it's just incredibly huge. Like, it just seems like it's pretty much every household celebrates it. I'm sure that's not true, but is it?
Yeah, I mean, it's
is it third
popular.
after? Is it third after Thanksgiving and Christmas?
I mean, the only thing with Thanksgiving has begun to just be enveloped with Christmas talk. So people treat Thanksgiving like it's 2 days. Yeah, let's say like the night before when you're cooking, the long cook food before the Thanksgiving dinner. By Black Friday, it's Christmas, and some people celebrate Christmas as soon as Halloween is over. It's getting pretty wild, especially if you work in retail. Some people, if you were to go out now and buy Halloween candy, Christmas stuff's already out in America, in most places.
Yeah.
I don't agree
Same
with
here,
that,
to be honest, in that
but
regard.
I respect the hustle.
Yeah.
But I am my favorite is like Halloween is still my favorite holiday of the year, just because I guess I appreciate the fact that a lot more people like. I feel like horror somehow is forgotten, especially in movies and things like that. It's just not something that is popular or successful, other than being in fall in the Northeast, other than being the latter half of the year before Christmas. If you throw a horror movie out in February, it's supposed to be crap. But if you can get a late September release or something like that, like it just for some reason it's this really tight knit time, and that's okay. It doesn't have to be a year long thing, but for me to feel comfortable like watching horror movies and welcoming other people to watch them and play games and things like that, I think a month is plenty of time to celebrate a holiday. So I make sure that October is ready.
How do you feel come 1st of November? Is it like, that's it, Halloween's done and you want to just move on, or do you still feel spooky?
I would say if I'm being fiscal, it would be the weekend after. So so this particular year, by November 2nd, we're Halloween down. But if Halloween fell on like a Wednesday, we'd let it run through the week. And then November 4th, whatever, we'd cut it down. So, but Halloween happens to be on a Saturday this year, which is great.
MJ, Stuart.
Yeah.
How are you guys for the Halloween? Not necessarily the specific traditions. We'll get onto that in a second. But how are you about Halloween as a holiday? I get the impression MJ's a fan of it. Stuart?
Yeah, I like it. We do more than we traditionally would have done. Theo likes it, so we do a lot around that. In an ideal world, we'd have some kind of family get together on Halloween. It's fun, isn't it? Like it's an opportunity. An opportunity once the...
we've lost it. This is turning into the horror movie host.
What?
Yeah.
What?
You cut out very briefly there.
Oh, did I?
And there was also a demon over your shoulder.
Nice.
It was a demon that I wasn't sure about.
Obviously, like summer's gone, and it's the first opportunity that you've got to do something to kind of try and lift your spirits a little bit pre-Christmas. So yeah, I buy into it. I like it. I like watching a spooky movie, not a scary movie, perhaps. Get involved in all that kind of stuff. Put some decorations up. I like it. I like a spooky aesthetic anyway. So yeah, I'm all in. I'm all in for Halloween.
MJ, you're a Halloweener.
Yeah, massive fan actually. Love spooky season. Love theme parks at Halloween because of the scare events.
But driving theatres at Thorpe Park?
Fucking hell!
Come on.
Yeah, not.
Come on. Let's not, please. Let's not. All right, let's move on to the actual specific traditions that we observe. Obviously, this year is going to be a weird one because of everything, but let's just talk generally about these traditions. I think one of the biggest, if not the biggest, is the trick or treating. Is it something you did as a kid, and conversely, do you hide when the doorbell rings nowadays as an adult?
It's very much something that I did as a kid. I actually did it. I think I did it what I would be deemed quite old. I think I did it up until the age of like 16. And yeah, love it. And yeah, more than happy to answer the door to children.
Are you a generous gifter?
Yeah,
or do you just open the door and just say, oh, hiya, thanks?
No, I'd say fairly generous.
What do you stock?
So I think this year we've got some Haribo.
Right.
But you.
Oh.
We've got quite a.
We lost you then, Michael.
Yeah, your audio went then.
Fucking hell! This is getting tricky. This is getting dark. This is proper becoming
hostage.
Yeah.
So you got some Haribo.
Yeah. So
yeah, exactly.
we get sent quite a lot of stuff these days because of the old chans. So
so you're just handing out freebies? That's good
no.
It's good to know. No. How much did you pay for the Haribo?
So yeah, we tend to have quite a few little bits.
Stuart, do you welcome trick-or-treaters?
Absolutely. What usually happens is that Gemma takes Theo out and I stay in and do the trick-or-treaters. This year it's a funny one though, isn't it? Like, we're like, what do we do? So we've got some bits in, but we're not encouraging. So usually we'd have signs out and stuff, and I'd put a pumpkin out at the end of the driveway, and we'd have a big sign saying trick-or-treaters this way and all that kind of business. We're not going to do that. So we're going to try and discourage trick-or-treaters, but it's a funny one.
Just put a vote Tory sign or something up.
I've already got one.
Yeah, there we go. Let's put that up.
Yeah.
Kids probably don't like Tories at the moment, I'm sure. Warren, I suspect the over there again, like I say, this year by the by, but a bigger thing over there, trick or treating.
Oh yeah, I was a late trick or treater as well, probably like 14, 15, I think. I definitely took costumes seriously when the time came, and even up until probably like last year, and costume parties, things like that. So that's definitely something up my alley. We try to make it interesting every year when it comes to like trying to make it fun to do the trick-or-treating thing. So if someone is coming to the house and they are trick-or-treating, so we would get, like my wife would get like a 6-pack of, we'll just say White Claw for the sake of it. I don't know if she did it this particular year. And then I got like a 6-pack and we would sit on our porch and we made a bet where she said she thought there'd be more Disney princesses than anything else on the block, and I said Marvel superheroes, and whoever, basically anytime you got your pick, you would have to take a drink. So whoever finishes their drinks first got to pick the movie and the popcorn flavor. So you'll learn about my popcorn flavor tradition. And then she definitely won that year. Disney princesses littered our entire. I'd look down the block and I thought I had it fucking locked. I was like, it's Marvel. It's gonna be easy. Superman's the easiest costume ever. And there must have been 5. And I was like, I lost so easily.
I love that though. That's cool. I don't know if the UK's embraced that side of things at this point. I think we're still very much learning. I would say we're still to some degree in the infancy of adopting all of these traditions. So yeah, but I love that idea. You mentioned something there that I was going to say. You suggested that you were 14 or 15 when you started trick or treating.
Yeah. Started. Yeah.
What? This is open to everyone. Where's your cutoff point? What's the age? MJ has done another visual thing that obviously I'd have to let in the listeners. So he's taken a photo of his background. He's photoshopped in a demonic, ghostly looking woman and used it as his background, so it looks like he's got a ghost over his shoulder. It's very good. It's very good.
Well, it's all well and good saying that. I've turned off the fake background, and she's still here.
Have you?
It's good that, Michael. Yeah, well done.
No, look, there's his body. Brilliant. Well done, MJ.
Oh, hang on, that's weird. I didn't do the curtain thing. What the fuck?
Cool.
I didn't do that bit.
Yeah, let's move on. What is the cut-off age for trick-or-treaters? At what age is it unacceptable for somebody to come knocking at your door looking for free food?
13, 14.
So just younger than Warren started.
Yeah, I think, like I say, I think the last time I did it was the age of 16 or something.
And MJ's trying to pretend he's haunted. It's really good. He's probably going to come back on with like a horror mask or something and try and scare us.
It's excellent humour.
Oh, now he's got no background.
Agree. And
I only said 15. I said 15 I would say 15 just because of like older siblings taking their.
Yeah.
Younger siblings.
I think that's fine. I think if you're that age and you're him just pretending to be dead on his desk.
While he's laughing.
It's fucking stupid. Yeah, I think kids doing it that age with younger siblings or whatever, that's absolutely fine. I've got no problems with that. But it's when you get groups of that age, I think maybe it's starting to take a little bit of the piss. And whatever, yeah. You're on mute, Michael. Do you remember that when you did that bit where you put yourself on mute so that you could do a bit?
Yeah, sorry. So yeah, it can be construed as threatening when you reach sort of 17 as well, can't it? You don't really want gangs of troublesome teenagers knocking on your door, do you?
I mean, we've all seen like The Strangers and Funny Games, and it is very much in that mould, isn't it?
Stuart has done the same. He's got a haunting image behind him now, and there's a ghost to the left as well.
I've flipped the picture, haven't I? And it's not worked.
Look at your face though in the other one.
So good. So good.
Hang on. Lean out the way. Take a photo of. Yeah, got it.
It's the face of like someone goes, "Hey, Stuart," like that's the face of it.
Yeah, he's just been caught.
That's
the face of a man who thought he locked the toilet, and someone's walked in.
That's a good effect.
Audio format.
This is really good, and I want to thank. I think it was Carl who suggested we do a Halloween episode. So hopefully that we're living up to the expectations.
Yeah, we're hitting the ball.
Yeah. You asked, we delivered. We titled it Halloween. We just fucked around for 2 hours. Any other games? Any other non? I'm not going to say non-food traditions, but any traditions that aren't necessarily revolving around eating a specific food. So I'm thinking in the UK we used to have like bobbing for apples.
Yeah, bobbing.
I know it's
so dead in it, bobbing for apples.
Yeah.
Imagine that in a COVID world as well. Like the absolute worst health and safety. Like we let people do that. We used to let them dribble into a big bowl of water, and then you'd go bobbing yourself afterwards. Like,
well, I've always been a bit sort of COVID sensitive. Even before COVID, I've always been like, I would never really like touching other things, and I already carried hand sanitizer and all that sort of thing. So, yeah, bobbing for apples, fucking creepy.
Do you bob for apples in America, Warren?
It is a common thing, not something that I ever into. I don't know if it was because something about an apple in like a keg tub in the middle of the woods or something just didn't seem appealing to me. I'd rather just go grab an apple and eat it. I was really looking forward to it. But yeah, it's still pretty common though. Like I hear about it a lot. I mean, it's bobbing for apples, it's pumpkin picking. Like that's at least we do in the Northeast because it's tough to
yeah.
No, that's a countrywide thing. I'm learning quickly that common things I do in the Northeast is like, what? I'm sorry, my bad.
Yeah, well, that's the thing with your countries. Obviously, there's so many different states and all these different traditions and everything. It's not a surprise that each state or even each area of each state has its own traditions. Do you guys partake in? Warren mentioned there the pumpkin carving. I've never done it myself, or certainly not as an adult. I can't remember doing it. Maybe I did it once as a kid or something like that. I'm not really crafty. I'm not really good with my hands when it comes to that sort of shit. So it would end up being its own horror story, if I'm honest. I'd either cut my hand off, or it would just be a mess, and I would just be depressed about the whole thing.
Yeah, carve at least one pumpkin every year.
Yeah. Any go-to designs, or do you?
Do you know what? I like doing a traditional pumpkin. I've tried to do slightly more involved pumpkins. Like you'll see these pumpkins that people do on the internet, and and some of them are ridiculous. Like, I've got a cousin who does who does pumpkins that like are very Instagrammable, and it's. I like the traditional. But similarly, if I had a Dremel, I think I'd have a go at a different pumpkin.
Nice.
Where you go in at different depths to achieve different colours and what have you. Yeah, it's good as pumpkins. I'd like to go picking pumpkins, which, like Warren said, that sounds like something that'd be lots and lots of fun.
Speaking of the different depths, I had a memory pop up today. Where is it? It was a Pikachu that I carved several years ago. There it is. I'll see if I can share an image on like the Facebook group or something, because once again, this is another visual image.
Yeah, you've got your fake background on, Michael. We can't see anything.
That is. That is.
I mean, unless this Pikachu looks like a lasagna. Oh, there we go.
Well, that's quite good, Michael.
Yeah, it was. Pikachu's a good one because it's so simple.
Yeah. What are the ears?
It's a bit of the pumpkin.
The things he hears out.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm due to carve our pumpkin tomorrow. We do tend to do quite non-traditional, so I might try and do the Venom logo, but it's quite intricate, so I might just do a silly face.
Why don't you do Venom's arse?
Brilliant, good reference.
People can hear about that on the Mavi
next episode. They can hear about it on
the last episode and this episode and next.
If we just
episode.
keep referencing it, yeah.
Might start up a spin-off podcast about Venom's arse. I assume you partake, Warren.
Yeah, I would say I like carving pumpkins. We didn't really get a chance to do it this year. We were a little busy with just other family things going on, but we still got to celebrate. We didn't get to pick. Usually we like to go out and pick our pumpkin and then carve the pumpkin we pick. The food thing we do in my home, and I feel like this is the time of year to do it, is we do so like since we watch a lot of movies at the house, we celebrate by going to like a popcorn shop and we buy like, not just like butter and cheddar, like we'll get like savory or Frankenberry spicy bacon cheddar. They have candy corn, popcorn, like little things like that. So like that's our way of just like a new flavor, and we try to associate with fall and Halloween. So
that's nice.
It's kind of our thing because it's easy to it doesn't spoil all that much. Just something that makes it easy. And if we're playing games or watching movies, the other person can, hey, did you try this new fruit yet? The Frankenberry is actually kind of good. I wasn't expecting that to be as good as it was. Do you guys have Frankenberry? Do you know what Frankenberry is?
No,
is that a breakfast cereal you guys have in the UK?
No.
It is, yeah. It's Count Chocula, but then there's Blueberry, Frankenberry.
Yeah, never tried it.
Aware of it.
Frankenberry, it's actually a pretty good flavor.
Cool. Yeah, no, we don't get those, but I think we're aware of them as a pop culture reference more than a food, really. Yeah.
Exactly.
Sure.
What flavour are they? Obviously berry, but like
as far as kids cereals go.
What berry are they? Are they just like general like mixed berries, or are they?
So blueberry is blueberry, obviously, and Frankenberry is more like it's basically like strawberry and raspberry sort of together.
Nice.
They come in two different flavors, like two different puffs, and then have little marshmallows with them. But
are they?
but they're pretty good.
I assume they're available all year round. They're not like a Halloween specific thing.
Usually it's just Count Chocula year round, and you got to go if you go to your supermarket like an end cap. We'll have all the General Mills haunted cereals.
Haunted cereals.
So, but they're good though. I mean, they definitely hold. Like, if you're into children's, haunted exactly. If you're into like childhood cereals, like if you're gonna eat like Cinnamon Toast Crunch, like something you remember, like Lucky Charms, they're on par with those. They're just not something you equate with eating them in, May, like during the summer. At least I personally don't.
On that point, let's move on to food specific, I guess. I mean, I guess this time of year, Halloween, obviously we've got, but obviously a new season, so to speak. What are there any food traditions that we associate with this type of year? Obviously, the internet is awash with pumpkin spice. That's it's the big one. But is there anything else at this time of year, or even for Halloween itself, the season that we have? Obviously, I posted in the Facebook group the other day that this is the time to start having like nice big chunky stews, not Stewarts. But is there anything else that you guys start to enjoy this time of year, or, as I say, specifically Halloween?
Well, I would assume Stuart and I would agree. Yeah, let's see what you bring up.
October is, for the first time this year, I decided to celebrate Oktoberfest and get a load of German special Oktoberfest beers, and we ate some wieners. So we went tried to go full on kind of Munich for it. So I think I'll keep that up as a bit of a tradition, and we'll, around the Halloween time. I've got a feeling that Warren's might be mentioning like a pumpkin beer or something. Do you know what? I've never had a pumpkin beer that I've enjoyed.
Wow.
I think maybe in America.
Then we will not agree. So, yeah.
I think based on what I've seen from some of our American friends, that pumpkin beers in America are significantly better than pumpkin beers over here, unless people in America have just got absolutely dead opinions on beer.
Warren.
I wouldn't be able to argue in either direction there, but I will. It is something we, I wouldn't say I'm a beer expert or even that. I do fancy myself like having a different type if I'm only going to have one or two if we're out. And this time of year, I'm not going to be like all pumpkin all the time kind of a thing. But like if we went out last weekend and they had it was called Pump Queen, and it was a pumpkin cream, and it was fantastic. It had such a great finish, and it was one of the stronger beers I've ever had as far as alcohol content, but it was so smooth and just so effective as far as it didn't have like that spice kick that you're expecting when you think of that. Mm-hmm. It had like very, very, very lack of bitter for its and that like sort of finish that you think of. It was just right down the middle.
Cool. What brewery was that?
And when you think of a pumpkin beer, you're expecting it to be very oh boy, I believe it's Forgotten Boardwalk. I hope I'm not but Forgotten Boardwalk is they're local, right? And they even have like they have a funnel cake. They're obviously just enough to mull it, not overtake it where it tastes like a sweet beer, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, it's a shame we'll never get to try it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've said before, like getting American beers. Is it just American?
To drink one for you.
Is it American beers specifically, Stuart, that you have difficulty with, or is it all sort of foreign beers?
No, it's American beers. It's expensive to import them anyway because they need cold storage. For good beers need to be kept in cold storage from the moment they're canned. But also there are issues around federal export laws. Like some states, they can't even export their beer to other states.
Wow.
Because America's crazy. So and when we can get them over here, because of things like the increased cost in shipping them over in cold storage and stuff, they can be silly money. And actually, for the most part, they're no better than the best beers that we make anyway. So like for a beer from say Other Half Brewery, who are the big hype New York brewery, if when their cans drop over here, you're talking at least a tenner a can, up to 12, 13, 14 quid a can. And that won't necessarily be any better than a beer from a UK hype brewery at maybe 6 or 7 quid a can.
Yeah, I would never pay 15 for a can.
No,
so that is a bummer that it costs that much for you.
Well, our beers are more expensive anyway. Like I've said this before, I've seen Michael bought me a can of a beer called Even More Jesus, and that beer over here is like £8-9 a can. I've seen a photo from a petrol station in America where a 4-pack was $12.99.
Yes.
So that's like 10 quid for 4 cans in a petrol station, and over here it's £8 or £9 from a specialist beer shop for one. So our beer prices over here, beer duty is a lot higher. So might move to America. So I can't see that there's any downside in moving to America at the moment.
Wait a couple weeks and maybe we'll figure it out.
Yeah. But this isn't a beer episode. MJ, do you have any?
No, not
autumn/Halloween food traditions. Anything you eat this time of year? I mean, autumn, a bit more general. But...
Yeah, there isn't really anything. I mean, we obviously try and pick up stuff for the old reviews.
Yeah.
But there's not really. The thing is, there's not that much exciting UK food at Halloween. There just isn't.
Social media, what does it mean to ya? Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, hey, like, follow, retweet, make our day. Social media, what does it mean to ya? Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, hey, like, follow, retweet, make our day.
You can find Food Review UK on Twitter at Food Review UK, Facebook also at Food Review UK, and on Instagram at FRUKgram. Check it out.
On that, you said about the products that you pick up. Let's transition into that then a little bit. You obviously do all the reviewing. Is there anything that comes out at this time of year, whether it's new, I guess, this year or a repeat offender, that comes out that you're looking forward to? I mean, to me, I don't really buy into, as much as I love Halloween, I don't really buy into the gimmicky products that come out necessarily, because realistically a lot of them just look like repackaged or recolored or do you know what I mean? It doesn't seem to be quite, and maybe that's just because there's not a lot of flavors around at this time of year. Like with Christmas, there's certain flavors we associate with Christmas, or it's a much more indulgent time of year, so it means that they can just be a bit more experimental with foods. Whereas realistically, I mean, what flavors could you associate with this outside of pumpkin? I guess cinnamon, anything like that sort of spice, that winter spice a bit earlier. But
it's a massive shame, really. I suppose the only thing we do have is the sort of pumpkin spice latte. Literally, that is the only thing I can think of, and I don't even, I'm not crazy about them. If you look at Christmas, you've got things like mince pies, brandy butter, turkey things, all the sort of party food. If you even look at Easter, you got mini eggs and cream eggs. I appreciate they're pretty much available most of the year anyway. But as you say,
you don't have a Cadbury Scream Egg. You don't have those there.
We do. Because we got goo heads. They're called goo heads.
Okay.
But as Nate says, they're just like repackaged, really. So there's not really. And I honestly think that's a massive shame.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, because, like I say, this time of year, I guess there's not much in the way of outside of pumpkin.
The answer is one of these big chocolate companies need to pull their finger out and release a iconic Halloween chocolate that tastes good and comes out for 2 or 3 months a year. Simple as that. But these dickheads won't do it.
What
in the UK? Do you guys have ginger snaps over there? The cookie? It's like a spiced wafer.
Yep.
At least in the States, we equate that with fall and Halloween. Okay. So we usually don't get ginger snaps until right at the end of summer, which again, it is sort of still like a spiced sort of treat. So it still kind of hits the same mark, but at least it's not just, pumpkin. At least it's something different. As far as like a sweet treat, because sometimes you'll make that, right? Like you'll make a ginger snap or a spice wafer as opposed to sugar cookies or whatever you make during Christmas time. But yeah, you're not kidding. It seems it's a very small like collection of edible things that relate to Halloween. It isn't just all candy, which is sad.
The one that sort of, for me, looking at America, because we don't really have this in our country, the one looking at America that seems at least to be intrinsically tied to Halloween more so than any other time of year is candy corn.
Yeah.
Is that? But that's presumably something that's available all year round. It's not like it's released around Halloween. It's presumably something that is an all year round treat. Although they might, I don't know whether they adapt the flavors or do anything at this time of year to sort of modify it. But it seems like it's the only time that people ever really talk about candy corn. Is that fair to say, or is that just a misconception on our part?
I think that's pretty true, and I feel like I'm the weirdo because I love candy corn.
Yeah.
It seems like everybody, it's like a butt of a joke. It's just candy corn is, they use the same candy corn every year. They just wash and repackage it. It's garbage. I don't know. I love it, and I'm kind of glad that it's not available year round, just because it would be a real problem for me. Like, I equate it to the month of October, so I like get my fix for the whole month, and then I'm gladly able to put it aside. And just candy corn. So if they're like the little pumpkins, like the little sweet treat pumpkins that are the same way, they're not made the same. I don't know what it is, but like generic candy corn is flawless. I love generic candy corn.
Yeah, we've done a few reviews of them on the channel. And big fan. Have you had them, Stuart?
No, never had them. I always think they look nice. I like the idea of a slightly, is it like a slightly waxy gummy kind of thing?
It's pretty close to fudge.
Is it?
Yeah, that's the closest thing I would equate it to. Slightly different.
It's like a drier fudge.
Yeah, firm. Yeah, quite firm.
I remember the first time, certainly, that I don't know if you'd had the first candy corn review that we did, MJ, which I think was the chocolate cake one.
Yeah, I think
Had you had it before then?
I don't think so. No, because it was definitely. I think it was definitely a food review thing, because I was surprised by the texture that I'd always seen solid. Them. Yeah, they look like they're boiled sweets.
Yeah.
And if you feel them, you could
like
squeeze it as hard as you like, and you'd be like, "Oh yeah, that's steel or something." But then you put it in your mouth, and it's like sugary fudge. It's weird. I can't like you say, I can't remember if it was that first review we did where we were all like, "What the fuck is this texture?" But
big fan. I wish they did release that in the UK. I'm surprised. It does surprise me the amount of things that are big traditions over in America, and they just never make them to the UK. Like,
you'd think that one would definitely come out, because again, the Bracks do all the different flavors, don't they? And that's quite interesting. I'll tell you what I really like as well. The candy corn flavor white chocolate M&Ms are fucking amazing. They're so nice.
Sure, they are good. It's been a couple. What is it? Did they come out last year or 2 years ago? They're pretty good. I was surprised how much I enjoy those.
The thing is, what I like about the coming back to Bracks, it's just how full those bags are.
Oh, it's crazy. They're so heavy.
It's the heaviest sweet I think I've ever seen in my life. I would. It's a shame, Stuart.
They come in like pounds.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Absolutely. I'm just looking on. Oh, that's quite cheap. There's a 48-ounce bag of Halloween candy corn Bracks, £56.66 if you want to put some Patreon money towards that, MJ.
Decent.
I'm looking here at another brand that's available. It says Sather's candy corn, and then it says underneath it from Bracks. I don't know what that's all about.
Oh, that's weird.
Who? Sather's?
Sather's.
I don't know. I've heard that name. I never realized they were I guess like a sister company or a parent company of Bracks. Bracks is the go-to. Like, if you're ever going to find it anywhere, it's going to be Bracks. Yeah. And they're good. I mean, they're exactly what they need to be, and they deliver every time.
I'm very surprised that they've got such a bad reputation. I don't really understand why. To me, there's nothing particularly offensive about them. They're just. I mean, I don't know if it's just because they are quite insanely sweet. I mean, that's the only thing I can put it down to, that people might not like about them. But it's not like they've got a weird taste. It's not like they've got a particularly weird texture. Like, I don't see what's so offensive about them that they've become a bit of a joke. But there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Ooh. Cool. There's no other, but there's no other products that you can. Have you had anything this year, MJ? What's the best thing you've had this year so far on the Halloween front?
So the best thing I've had, they released a similar thing. Well, I'll just say it's American. Last year was the first time I tried it. It's the Mountain Dew Voodoo. So it's a mystery flavour. Did it last year, and they've released a new, different one this year. And this year, to me, it tasted like the strawberry Skittles. I've seen other reviewers say it just tastes like Skittles. Really nice. So basically just a Skittles flavour soda. The only other thing that I'd say is genuinely really good was it's kind of a Halloween product. It's the Morrison's fruit salad flavoured donuts, but they coloured it green instead of the normal colour, which is orange. Yeah. So they call them like slime donuts. But those are amazing. Those are 50p, 5 donuts, powdered sugar, delicious pineapple and raspberry flavour filling. Really, really tasty.
Wow.
Yeah, nice. Bargain.
That sounds great.
Yeah, really good.
I'd like to go to Morrison's. There's not one close enough to make it worth my while. But anyway, that's just by the by.
It's weird how transformed people's lives are just from which supermarkets they have nearby.
Transformed. Yeah, very true.
Because, like, for me, Asda, like, nearest is like 40 minutes for a good one. Sainsbury's, same. But Morrison's got a fantastic Tesco.
Good. It's great stuff.
But your life is completely different because you have not got Morrison's, but you probably have got Asda.
I've got an Asda within about 15 minutes drive, yeah.
There you go, mate.
There you go. It's different shops for different needs, I guess. As long as Woolworths comes back soon. Right. Right. Last thing I want to touch on before we close out the discussion. We've talked about traditions. We've talked about foods. But it'd be remiss not to talk about movies and music at this time of year. Warren's a bit of a movie fan. I think we all are. We all enjoy films. Any horrors that it doesn't necessarily have to be that you traditionally watch them every year, but sort of what horror would you if you're going to crack one on Halloween night? If you're going to crack back with a horror that rhymes with that. What are you chucking on Halloween night?
So here's what I'll say. I'll break it down pretty easily for us. So every Halloween season we pick a franchise.
Oh wow!
So we go through all that. So my wife picked Nightmare on Elm Street this year, which is how I know about Freddy in its entirety. Mm-hmm. We just went through that. We do watch like a lot of new stuff that has come out. What I would say this year that we've done is we watched a lot of horror shorts. Whether they are, we have a few friends that are actually actors in these shorts. So we started making friends. Wow. And we're like, gosh, like send us all your stuff so we could watch like 10 and 12 and 15 short films as opposed to maybe one long film that might not be as good because it's got 3 good scares or whatever in it. So that's been like our newest thing recently. And we did get Shudder. I got it for my wife for her birthday earlier this year. Just a hey, you can watch horror movies whenever you want because she is a horror hound. She's huge. They have slashics is what they call them. So there's some good ones there. I would say for me, Halloween night every year is Halloween. That's my go-to. Michael Myers has always been my favorite of that. When it comes to like a top 5 horror film, that's like a near perfect film. So The Thing is on that list, but it's not. It's just a good body horror movie. Halloween is the one that really just it seems really real. And I grew up 2 miles from a town called Haddonfield, New Jersey. Wow. So it being in Haddonfield, I had a cousin that used to mess with me and said, it says Haddonfield, Illinois, but it's because they couldn't say Haddonfield. So it's just one of those that just always stuck with me, and that's definitely like the classic. What I would say is it's not necessarily horror, but it's horror adjacent, so I'm taking it as with Stuart not seeming to be as a giant fan. I would recommend Blood Machines on Shudder. It sounds like it's a little wonky, but basically it's like a sci-fi
one.
Yeah, it's a sci-fi one, and basically ships have personality, like ships are beings, and there's like this religious cult around. Instead of ripping ships apart to feed for parts for other ships. They had it's basically killing a human being to them, like a creature, and they worship it. And it's basically this quick. It's 3 30-minute episodes, and it just tells a fucking awesome story. And again, it's not really horror, but it is, like, just because you're in this world that you don't understand. So in and itself is sort of a horror film. But the music's incredible. Carpenter Brut is like such an amazing composer. So I recommend that.
I've just pulled it up now, and I've just read that about Carpenter. I've never heard of Blood Machines, and I've only ever heard of Carpenter Brut because they did a remix of a Ghost song a couple of years ago, which was really, really good. Mm-hmm. So I'll look into that.
He's an amazing he's an amazing video game composer too. If you play like Fury, there's a game called Fury that he did music for, and it's incredible. Yeah. And the other half for me is I play more horror games than I watch horror movies this time of year. So I'm definitely the weirdo.
do you have a game that you go to at this time of year, or is it just any that take your fancy?
We try to mix it up. On the Metal Gear Mondays, we have a monthly game club that we do. So this particular month, they picked Bloodborne to play the From Software game, which is really good. It's spooky adjacent because it takes place in, basically, it seems like 15th century London kind of feel, like kind of steampunky, but there's werewolves. It's very Lovecraftian. Personally, my pick, I try to pick a new game to like really delve into. This particular year, I picked Darkwood, and Nate of all people knows I'm a big indie game guy, and Darkwood's an indie game that came out last year. It finally came out full release, and it's a top-down, but just the game design, the sound design of it. So if you're playing in headphones or in a surround sound environment, nothing's scarier than that. And a go-to game for me every year is anything Resident Evil, Silent Hill, or Dead Space. They're going to be like those top 5 that I'm going to play at any time during the Halloween season, because horror games are they're so rare, but they're so good when they're good.
Nice. MJ Stewart, do you have anything that, or you might not have a traditional film that you would watch, but let's just say this year, for argument's sake, you've got to Halloween night. What would you put on? You said about you'd put on something spooky. What does that mean to you, Stuart?
So we'll watch Nightmare Before Christmas at some point on Halloween. We'll watch Hocus Pocus at some point around Halloween.
Hocus Pocus.
I'd love to watch. I'd love to watch Monster Squad. I'd love to show that to Theo, but I believe it hasn't aged very well in a lot of ways.
I watched it fairly recently. Maybe for the first time.
Right.
And it wasn't my thing. I could see why somebody would have like a historic nostalgia feelings for it, but it wasn't.
That might be that movie might have like one of my favorite portrayals of Dracula though.
It's pretty cool.
Monster Squad. I think that Dracula is like a really good Dracula in that movie.
It was a great movie as a kid, but I think a lot of there's a lot of accusations of just like kind of casual homophobic language and stuff that's in it that I don't necessarily want to subject my son to at his age. Maybe if he was like 14, 15, and you could explain to him that it's not necessarily cool. But we did watch Vampires vs. the Bronx the other week, which for me completely fills that Monster Squad void. That was a great film.
Pretty good, right? I thought that was pretty good.
It was really good. Yeah, really liked it.
Out for sure. Yeah.
I watched the trailer and it just looked, I don't know, it just looked like it was missing something. Obviously, that's unfair to judge it by the trailer, but I was just watching it, I was like, I just don't know if this is, I don't know what this is supposed to be, and it didn't really...
It's really good. It's really good. It's worth a watch, definitely. But I've never seen any, like you mentioned, watching Halloween. I've never seen any classic horror movies at all.
Do you not like horror?
No, I don't. I don't like being scared, mate. I overthink things and I drive myself crazy, so I can't really watch it. I've maybe seen one or two Freddy movies, and I've watched Evil Dead, obviously, and Army of Darkness. I love Bruce Campbell, so do you know what I might bust out? Do you know what I might bust out this Halloween, because I haven't watched it for a few years? I might bust out Bubba Hotep
nice.
as a nice kind of Stuart
Good. That's awesome.
Stuart friendly spooky movie. Yeah.
I gotta say though, man, you definitely gotta try and dabble into like just one classic, like in the 1940s. You know, like you can watch. There's some really good stuff that's early on that it doesn't really like play with your mind. It's just more you're enjoying the spectacle of the film.
Do you know what?
I would recommend it because it's fun. It's a good time. Man.
We were in a place the other week, a food place, and it's in an old cinema, and they had a lot of Frankenstein posters up, a lot of Boris Karloff style Frankenstein posters, and my son was asking about that, and I've had a look, and there's quite a few, even some of the old ones. I'll show him a 12. He's 9. I'll show him a 12 rated film. So maybe we might delve into some proper classic Vincent Price, Boris Karloff stuff.
Ones out there.
Yeah.
You said there about Evil Dead. Now I've only seen it the once.
Yeah.
I don't know it. I don't remember it well enough. Would that be something that Theo could watch, or is he still too young?
No, God, no.
No. I would imagine not. So
no,
no.
I thought the fact that it's quite cheesy and quite over the top and whatnot.
Still far
Isn't
too
it quite horrifically violent.
Yeah, it's still far too violent.
Is it?
Still far
I don't remember
sweary.
it well enough to.
Yeah, have you never watched the?
The first one is before the humor really took hold.
Right.
Yeah,
the first one's like legitimately an attempt to be a horror film.
Because Evil Dead 2 is just a more comedic remake of Evil Dead 1.
Correct.
And then
bigger budget, more laughs.
Yeah, and then Army of Darkness is the good film.
Yeah.
If you say so. MJ.
There's none that I really re-watch. Probably.
What's your favourite horror of all time?
Really like Blair Witch Project. I really like The Ring. I really like. It's probably one of them, to be fair. No, sorry, it's probably The Conjuring. I think The Conjuring is phenomenal.
Oh. The first one.
Surprised the more modern picks. I'm surprised at the more modern picks there, MJ.
Yeah.
Struck me as someone that would be like loving this late 70s horror, something like that.
I like Halloween. I think The Exorcist is very scary.
You say that like I'm a big fan of The Exorcist, but I watched it for the first time about 3 or 4 years ago. Not the first time, sorry. The last time I watched it was about 3 or 4 years ago, and I think it might have been Laura's first time watching it. And I hadn't really noticed how talky it is. Like, it is very much not in a.
It's a good film.
Oh yeah. No, I'm not dissing it. But if you're going in expecting, say, a full horror, I think it's quite a tough film to sell because yes, there is plenty of creepy stuff in there, but there's a lot of downtime. There's a lot of like slow moving, nothing happening per se. So I think it becomes a bit of a hard sell from a horror point of view if you want something that's going to be out and out scary.
Yeah.
I think that's horror in itself is very subjective too. I think that's a big frustrating part with modern horror. It's more like a scare a minute, it's worth it, but your body physically doesn't care about scares after about 11 minutes. You know what I mean?
That's the thing. Like you said there about Halloween being your one. And I just, that is a film I watched for the first time about 5 years ago, and I'll be honest, it just doesn't jive with me. I just do not think it. But the problem is I'm so quote unquote desensitized by modern horrors that to watch something like that for the first time now, I just find it a bit boring, a bit nothingy. There's just nothing particularly. Now I understand at the time I can sit there logically and go, I understand at the time that it was groundbreaking and appreciate all of that. But for me personally, sitting down to watch it for the first time and going, all right, fair enough. I've seen the trouble is I've seen this whole lurching bad guy who's just going to catch up with you regardless what you do and kill you and all your friends. Like I've seen it in other films already. It's not anything new to me, and I'm too old at this point to really appreciate anything.
But in your current age, Nate, you wouldn't notice like how effective a score would be there, or good cinematography, and maybe characters you actually don't want to see die. Because a lot of modern movies just put a bunch of assholes together.
But I think
the kills would be the cool part. But the kills are not what horror is about. It's about trying to hope that the person that's going to get killed doesn't. And it seems like that's a forgotten art in these new films. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I think there's a difference between me being able to respect it for what it did and what it does, and me being able to enjoy it. And I can sit there and I can understand that and respect all of that. But ultimately, if I'm not enjoying it, if it's not giving me, you know, if I'm not going to get the same level of enjoyment out of that, then it's not for me. And maybe I've come into it too late. I do think that some films need a little bit of context sometimes, and I think just if I'd seen it as a younger man when I was watching Freddy, for example, I've grown up on Nightmare on Elm Street. That's been my horror franchise, and as crappy as a lot of them are, I'd still much rather put on the worst Nightmare on Elm Street than the best Halloween. So
it's just comedic hearing you bring up. It's comedic hearing you bring up, like, there's a lot of talky in between for a man that loves a good portion of the Paranormal Activity franchise.
Yeah, but that's schlocky. Do you know what I mean? Like, I enjoy Paranormal, but it's almost the opposite of Halloween, because I can respect Halloween and not enjoy it, whereas I don't respect Paranormal, but I do enjoy it. Like, Paranormal is as a franchise is objectively bad, really. But
fair dues. I'll give you that then.
But it's I can enjoy it anyway.
Before we move off movies, at the start, Nate, right at the beginning of this podcast, you dropped a They Live reference. I've never watched They Live.
No, neither have I, actually.
Should I watch They Live?
Has anyone seen They Live?
Don't think so.
Yes.
Yeah.
I absolutely recommend it. I wouldn't say it's horror, but it's awesome.
It's got Roddy Piper in it, hasn't it? So.
It's a great concept.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just got, and it's Keith David, it's John Carpenter. It's got so many pieces of genius there that it's just fun to watch the movie play out. And there's some great stuff. And there's one of the best lines in movies is, "I came here to kick ass and chew bubblegum, and I'm all out of bubblegum."
Yeah.
That's what's that from?
Nothing gets better than that in a movie. Yeah, that's what that's from, is They Live.
Yeah.
You thought it was from IT Crowd, didn't you? I would imagine that I've never seen They Live. I know enough about it. I would imagine it's fairly relevant as well. Of about consumerism and sort of subject, like all the subliminal messages and things like that. So I suspect it would probably probably quite an interesting watch in today's world.
I might watch that this weekend then.
Fair. Lovely.
Yeah, right, it's a fun watch. It's definitely a fun watch.
Yeah, it's one. It's never ever been close to being a film that I'd watch, but for no reason. It's not like I'm like, oh, that'll be shit. It's just not one I've ever really thought about.
Big Hogan fan, aren't you? That's what it is. You can't bring yourself to watch a Piper film.
Yeah, that's the one. I like Hulk Hogan. That's why every Halloween I put on Suburban Commando.
Oh no. What's that? No Holds Barred.
No Holds Barred. Yeah.
Give them the rip.
Yeah. There we go. MJ, sock mate.
Sock man, it's time for questions that you posted on all the platforms that you utilize to provoke our replies. Although increasingly I'll post in the forms of statements that require no response, as opposed to the questions we requested in our initial posts on the aforementioned Sock Man.
Sock Mad, so social media. So we're trying out a brand new segment this episode. And we're not, this might be the penultimate one actually. We're not sure how well it's going to go, but we will see. So we ask you what I should draw, because I have this thing where I draw things. And this time, Canny UK 69
Canners
has suggested I draw an orange chocolate.
Wow.
So I have drawn, and because there's so many chocolate orange things at the moment, I have drawn an orange chocolate, and it's crying because it's crying at its pathetic orange flavoured life because it's so boring and so dull and it lacks so much creativity.
What's that yellow thing on the paper with it?
The rest of the paper is just blank. There's nothing else there.
All right, good.
Yeah. That is where I plan to draw the one from episode 73, but it's just blank paper at the moment.
Oh,
Okay.
that's weird.
So I don't know. It's weird that you would guess the colour as well.
Yeah.
Anyway, the rest of the comments on our social media. Shelby,
Shelbers.
Shelby.
How are you, man?
if you were an inanimate Halloween-themed object, what would you be? I think I'd be an empty Skittles packet because I'm cheerful on the outside, but I'm empty on the inside.
Oh, mate.
That's quite sad, really.
Aw,
Shelby.
Shelby.
Inbox me, hun.
I think I'd just be pumpkin pulp because I'm seedy.
Yeah.
I'd be.
Thought that'd go down better in
You
the
got
room.
anything for it, Stuart?
I'd be a devil mask because I'm horny.
I'm made of rubber.
Yeah. I don't know. What an inanimate object? I'd be. You know, you can buy those special tools for kids to carve pumpkins.
Yeah.
Where it's like, but it's essentially it doesn't really work because it's not
Doesn't
sharp
work.
enough because it's safe for kids. So essentially, I'm one of those nice idea but ultimately useless.
No, you
Mine's-
don't, mate.
Or you were
I don't know,
just
mine's
going to
getting
say.
kinda, like,
What are you
mine's
going
like
to say?
kind
Just a
of
tool.
serious. I
Sorry.
think.
We're doing that
Just a
thing where
tool.
we keep.
You're still doing it.
I
Warren,
think I'd
speak.
be... Sorry, no, it's totally fine. I think I'd be like a lantern, I guess, and I would say like, imagine like Han Solo and like carbonite, but it's like me. It's like a picture of like a story I'm telling, and that's the lantern on the thing, and then you would light it, and then that would like tell my story. I guess I feel like that'd be kind of dope.
Wow.
I'd be a bucket that a kid takes out trick or treating because I'm consuming far more candy than I should.
Nice. Nice. Ben loves cheese.
Jesus.
Shout out to Ben Loves Cheese, who Benners lovers. Shout out to Ben, who over the last 6 months has been, I think, listened to not his first ever, but he's basically done the whole back catalogue of FRUK Unwrapped podcasts for the first time, and I think this episode will be the first one that he actually listens to, quote unquote, live. It'll be the first one that he listens to actually at the time it's released. So Ben,
I mean, you have missed out quite an important detail there.
he loves cheese.
No, he's doing it off his own back. He's not like a university experiment or anything. He's like he's chosen to do this.
Yeah, it's Halloween, so it's actually like a terrible thing, but it's a scary thing that's happened to him. But no, thank you very much, Ben, for catching up and helping us boost our stats.
What's the best 5 songs in general? As there isn't many Halloween songs to carve a pumpkin to. I put a spell on you and Ghostbusters. The Dweezil Van Zafir versions, though.
Correct.
The perfect versions, yeah.
Thriller.
Yeah.
Thriller's excellent, isn't it?
As long as
It's a
you can
shame-
put up
it's a
with the
shame it was
ancillary
sung.
stuff.
Yeah, shame who it's sung by.
Yeah.
But he's saying, what's the
That's
best 5
where,
songs in general?
Yeah.
Oh.
I would
Well.
say, that's where Nightmare Before Christmas comes in for me.
Yeah.
Stuart was talking about, like, that's a watch. We don't really watch it as much anymore. We might leave it on while we're doing stuff because
Yeah.
we
Okay.
know all the lyrics and we
Yeah.
know everything. So I definitely, like, Halloween Town, Kidnap the Sandy Claus, those are ones we go to all the time. I would say, I don't know if it's a song really, but if you search like YouTube, they call it the Ghoul Log. And you can basically, instead of watching a Yule log burn on the TV, it's a jack-o'-lantern, and they add like little spooky stuff, and it just runs for hours, and you can watch that while you do stuff. So we
Wow.
put on the Gulag a lot when people are over.
Nice.
Nice. Monster Mash with its 34 occurrences of mash.
I do
I'd
like.
say.
Nice.
And
I,
Stuart should also be into spooky, scary skeletons.
correct.
That's just such a great song that just happens to be horror adjacent.
Yeah. I found out that the guy who did Spooky Scary Skeletons. What else did he do? He did another. He was a pop star in like the 80s, and Spooky Scary Skeletons was on his Halloween Kids album that he did in the 90s. But previously he'd done serious pop music. Can't remember the guy's name. Andrew Gold is the guy's name. There we go.
Andrew Gold.
Andrew Gold, whose big hit. Oh, that was it.
Thank you for being a friend.
That's the one. Yeah, that's mind blowing. The Golden Girls guy is the Spooky Scary Skeletons guy.
What?
How awesome is that?
Yeah.
Are the Nightmare Before Christmas songs the last good Halloween songs? Has there been anything since then?
Little Mix Black Magic.
Is Backstreet's Back a Halloween song? Does it count?
No. Doesn't count.
I would argue. Yeah, nothing really comes close to me in that, and it's just that's another piece of it. Like I said, we were talking about food, stuff that just doesn't seem to spell out hard. Like hard can be like Halloween can be something that can be celebrated, and it just seems to be sort of left to the side sometimes. And yeah, like I think that's why, like people, I guess used to like pick on people that like Nightmare Before Christmas, but nothing's like it. So even if you don't like it, you're still going to hum the tunes. Yeah. You're still going to have it in the back of your head. I can't go a week without doing bum 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 bum, and that's going to stick with me for life. You know what I mean? Like I just love. I think you're right, though, Nate. It's been 25 years now. I think. I don't think anything's come close to even capture a time of year and a holiday. And what makes Nightmare Before Christmas so special is it's good till Christmas. You can watch that all the way through the end of the year, and it's still relevant.
Yeah.
That's just remind me. Just going back a step to the movies thing. For Theo, has he tried anything like Coraline or Box Trolls? I mean, they're not specifically horror, but
yeah, we watched Box Trolls. We went to the cinema to watch Box Trolls. Box Trolls is great, really cool aesthetic. We watched The Corpse Bride the other day. Good film. Not as good as Nightmare Before Christmas, but a good film. I think you've probably seen Coraline. We've watched all of those. You know, the first couple of Hotel Transylvania films are pretty good. You know, the first one's really quite funny. That franchise goes off the boil a little bit, but decent movies. There's some nice movies. Box Trolls is a really good one though.
You watch like Paranorman or Frankenweenie? You watch either of those?
Yeah,
they're really good too.
Yeah, we've watched all those. Good movies.
Huh. MJ.
Ben Loves Cheese has got another comment here.
Benners.
Something weird, spooky, and foodie that I'd love MJ to draw would be that drawing of Harry Styles, but his face is a pumpkin, his hair is purple spaghetti, his eyes are green pancakes with holes in the middle, his mouth is one of those cherry lips from a pick and mix, and his nose is a blue chicken nugget. He is wearing a witch's hat and a Man United football shirt. You could probably understand why I chose to do a chocolate orange.
It's good that, yeah.
Maddie Mad World.
Some lovely references in there. Hold on. Mad.
Boo.
Thank you.
Shelby has replied.
Shoulders.
Since it's Halloween on a Saturday this year, I'd like MJ to dress up as a witch and choose one of his channels to be sacrificed. He can draw the scene if he wants to.
What would you offer up to the gods of YouTube to help you become famous?
There's only one, isn't there?
Colours?
God, rest in peace, Colours, yeah.
See
you later, Colours.
Not big book of dicks?
No.
Is that ever gonna...
Maybe. I can't rule it out.
Okay.
I mean, I uploaded a video to Michael Jameson.
Lay Fruits?
Lay Fruit. Oh, good reference.
Oh,
lovely
brilliant reference. Wow. Uploaded a video to Michael Jameson Gaming for the first time in like 4 years this week.
Was that a test?
It was literally only because it was no, it was only because I couldn't send the video through WhatsApp. It was being a bit weird, so I had to upload it to YouTube and send the link.
Let's limit the choices. You have to sacrifice FRUK, Brickburst, MJC or theme park.
Oh, none then. I'll take myself.
No, you have to kill one of them. It's a real Sophie's choice. You have to kill one of those channels, and the other remaining channels all increase by 70% subscribership.
Oh, FRUK then.
You'd kill FRUK.
Yeah, of course. Because the byproduct of that is this podcast goes.
Wow.
No, of course not. I honestly wouldn't choose any of them. I'd honestly take myself, and it makes me very sad thinking about that. So Shelby,
you take all. So you take all of them then, because if you die, then they all.
Well, yeah, but at least I don't have to live in a world that doesn't have them. So
whereas we have to live in a world that does
has them and me.
Yeah.
Bonglungs.
Bongers.
Can't wait to come back on the podcast. Maybe we call it cider.
Okay.
Bonglungs.
Bongers.
Jason.
I was going trick-or-treating and Christmas caroling till I was like 13. Got to make this money in candy, baby.
I love you, Bongers. You're so mad.
So good. Seen his latest unboxing. Got another American Snacks unboxing on there.
Oh, is he? I didn't see it.
His channel. Ellie Too Stiffy. Big up. Finn Rogers.
Finners.
Rogers.
Spooky Dookie.
He just said Spooky Dookie.
Yeah. Spooky Dookie.
Nice.
Of course, Dookie means poo in America, I believe.
Yeah, so
that's some scary shit right there.
Yeah. Commenter, the listener, formerly known as X_Amelia_Hills_X.
XXs.
Which is going to be weird when people listen to episode 73 and you explain why she's lost the X's. After this.
Shitting hell, fella. Where's the X's gone then? She's removed the X's. I'm probably just going to call her Amelia for now.
Just
Mealies. Nice.
Hilsa.
I love Halloween for the sole reason I can wear my usual clothes without constantly getting asked, "Are you a goth? Are you an emo?" Nice. Are you?
Is she?
I feel that.
Yeah.
Well, can't it be both? The two are not mutually exclusive.
Exactly. Liam T180.
Just call him Liam. Yeah, Laminator.
80s.
There we go.
When's the last time you got? Oh, we've done that. Orange chocolate episode, please. Fucking hell, I think we might have to put that on the list, shouldn't we?
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Good sock, mate.
Good sock, mate.
Strong turnout today, wasn't it?
Great sock, man.
Yeah. Right. This is your. Oh, he's preempted me because I wasn't sure if I actually put it in the schedule or not. You have been on before, but this is, like I said, you're getting the full first-time treatment, which means a proper go at sweet or savoury, and not this namby-pamby, weak rubbish. Oh, we're going to just put a load of people together and collectively do it. Are you ready for sweeter and or savoury?
It's time to play a game. Let's play a game. It's called sweeter or savoury. We pull the name of a foodstuff out of a hat. You tell us what you think about that. Will the next foodstuff be sweeter or savoury? Will it be sugary or covered in salt? It's just no way to know. But you must predict. Will the next foodstuff be sweeter or savory?
I can't wait. I can't wait to lose on the first go. I'm
Let's do it.
going to get mushrooms right out the gate.
What did finish you off last time? Do you remember? Was it mushrooms?
It was mushrooms. There was nothing. I couldn't have picked sweet or savory, and it still would have lost. So I just accept it.
just imagine that Joe Biden is sweet, Trump is savoury, and mushrooms are the American voting public.
All right, I'm ready.
Okay, the first. Oh!
No way.
No way. Is it mushrooms?
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Completely at random. Just
so here's the problem. This is 50-50 now. I can pick anything, and I don't know if I ever have a better. Well, because
mushrooms.
Anything's going to be sweeter or savorier than a mushroom.
It's mushrooms. Mushrooms is almost the best one to start with.
Right? So you're right. So I get a free pass, pretty much.
Well, unless you say sweeter and it's Marmite,
bacon.
Yeah, bacon or something. Yeah, but it's right in the middle, isn't it?
I think I'm going to go savory.
Savorier than a mushroom. We have got.
I reckon that.
Tiramisu.
Well, there we go.
And that is game over.
How
good.
Well, 2 million ghosts, guys. 2 million ghosts.
Wow. I said you'd get the full experience, and
that's a proper full experience. Exactly. Yeah. Now I feel like I've gotten the true experience.
You feel like you legitimately lost at sweet or savoury, rather than lost it collectively with a load of other people. This loss was all yours. You can own this loss all on your own, Warren Minnick.
I'll take it with me to the grave.
You're listening to FRUK Unwrapped, the Food Review UK podcast. Review it on iTunes, if you dare.
Exactly. We probably don't have any new Patreons. I'm just going to ignore that and just say, please give us your money on patreon.com/Food Review UK, where you can get some excellent content like the recently soon to be uploaded episode of TV Dinners, where we discuss, what was it? MasterChef Australia.
Correct.
That's up now.
Oh, is it? Cracking. And soon to be released episode of Taco Chronicles Burros.
Wow, what a great episode that is.
Which, as
good as the other ones, I'd say.
I didn't say this on the episode, but I think that might be the best thing we've watched on TV Dinners for me.
Oh God, Chef Show's not getting beaten.
No, Cantaro.
Cantaro is great.
Cantaro was a very good show, Nathan. I think you.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
No, don't believe in you. Yeah, so please do. If you do have some spare pennies, then and the good news is Patreon now allows you to donate in sterling rather than being forced to donate in dollars. I'm just joking though. I'm just joking.
That's great.
No, it's actually it doesn't happen because I think
it doesn't let you do that.
Michael, do we get less if they do it pounds?
We actually would get more, but it's a bit of an admin nightmare. Because you basically sort of, it looks like you have to like cancel everyone and then they get reset up. And also I'm not comfortable with the idea that it would basically go up for them without even asking them. So I'm just going to leave it, I think.
But I'm saying is I'm talking about new people.
What I love is that we're both whispering, but we're doing so right next to the mics. It's probably louder.
Yeah. I'm just saying if they do it in sterling, then it's a bit easier for us to know that we got to find them out. But in
why are you bringing? Why are you bringing that? It's either pounds or dollars.
Yeah, pounds. If they do it in pounds sterling, at least we know what we're getting. Whereas with the dollars, it's sort of you never know. The exchange rate could really what about if
it's like a foreign currency, isn't it? So the
currency.
I just
Giles currency.
How could you weren't going to notice that? But yeah.
So would you?
It's just dollars. It's just dollars. Yeah, it's going to be keep it as that.
Okay. So please donate.
Food
Review UK on patreon.com. Dollars preferably.
No choice. It is just dollars.
No, but preferably give us the money. And that's what I've got. Warren, thank you very much for joining us. This is the end of the show. do you have anything that you'd like to plug or say?
Yeah. So I'll say I am part of the band Spooky Forest. We have an album out on Spotify. We are working on new music. I promise you that. It should be coming out shortly once we get our logistics figured out with this whole pandemic. I'm also part of Metal Gear Mondays. I very much appreciate that. If anybody wants to chime over, again, we do stuff that isn't just Metal Gear, but I totally understand. And if it's okay with you, Nate, I will. I'll give my little what should be coming out early next year as far as like a little pet project of mine.
You go for it.
So it should be releasing Q1 of next year is the goal. We're in pre-production now. It is video game bedtime stories. So we will be working on focusing on the science of bedtime stories. So proper length, proper like tones, things like that, using the proper music that makes it beneficial, at least the most beneficial. We're trying to round up a couple of voice actors and some writers to make it so that it is on Audible as well as visual and hopefully maybe print eventually when the time comes. But for now, episode 0 is probably coming out like sort of a what to expect moving forward. Probably next month. I'm working on it now. And we've gotten a few handshakes, things in that to get the ball rolling. But it should be Q1 of next year. Video game bedtime stories. That will be a thing.
Wow, amazing.
Are we allowed to ask it? Do you want to leave it at that, or can I ask any questions about it and get a bit of sort of a couple of detailed questions that I've got?
You can if you'd like. I mean, like I said, it's still pre-production, so I don't want to make any promises. I can't.
No.
But sure, ask away.
All I was going to say is when you say video game bedtime stories, so is that sort of taking established characters and fitting them into that world, or is this sort of a completely original thing?
The intent is to start with established stories in games. Essentially, try to think of it as our way of gamers that became parents that don't have time to play games. But the intent is, if we get the ball rolling and it feels more comfortable, the hope is to eventually make it completely new and original creations in addition or on our own. Whatever sparks the most fancy. Nice. I'm all for anything being an option moving forward. So.
Man, that's pretty cool. That's a really cool little idea. I look forward to that dropping, and obviously we'll, as and when that drops, I know we're in constant contact anyway, Warren. But obviously, please do feel free to if I don't share it naturally, which I'm sure I will. Please do push me to share it, because we're all about helping our friends and helping people that are good creators, and you're definitely one of those people that we would want to help out. So we'll share it wherever we can, and hopefully get you some views and whatnot this side of the pond.
Yeah, well, thanks, guys. Yeah, I absolutely appreciate it. And again, any chance I can when the time comes for MJ and Stuart, if we find a game or something that crosses your fancy over at Metal Gear Mondays, we'll talk.
Wicked.
Nice. Love it.
Cool.
Thank you for joining us, and thank you for finally got you on. It's been a while. Wanted to get you on this podcast a long time ago, but it's just been it's just scheduling guests is quite tough. It's quite a tough thing to try and fit in everyone that you want to get on, as well as everyone that you think is good guests for the podcast and all that sort of stuff. So I would have liked to have got you on sooner, but unfortunately it wasn't to be. But this was a good one for you to come on, because I know that you've got horror leanings, shall we say? I knew it was something that you'd be able to talk your way through. Thank you to the listeners for sticking with us for over 3 years, and thank you to MJ and Stuart for sticking with me for over 3 years.
What, is this like a 3rd year anniversary?
No.
Oh. Weird thing to say then. Fucking weird thing to say.
But it's factual, isn't it?
It's been like 3.5 years though. It's almost weird to bring up the fact.
Yeah, it was
July. It was late July, so it's not even half. It's like 3.25.
Was it not June?
No, July. I believe our first ever episode might have been the 4th of July. Weirdly,
good time to be born.
I don't know about you, Stuart, but I actually just thought it was selling us short a little bit, which I found a little bit sort of. I don't want to say offensive, because that sounds a bit Karen-y, but I don't know. It's quite abrasive at the very least.
So we're selling you short how?
just like that we've not been doing it as long as we have in reality.
Over 3 years. I mean, I'm factually correct.
Like I say, I don't think it's offensive. I just think you shouldn't have said it, and it could upset people. So
72 episodes going strong.
That's but what you've done there is you've
again,
ignored
forgotten.
You've ignored things like secret menus and appetizers, haven't you? So and quite a lot of those are ones where, like the appetizers, particularly, are ones where maybe I hosted them, or
so it's completely
all the New Year's Eve songs. You've completely ignored them in your 72, haven't you? So you've insulted, you've insulted me, and you've insulted Warren.
Yeah.
And you've insulted Michael because the
appetite... put a lot of time into making a random rap.
Exactly. I'm just saying, Nate, right? I know you didn't mean to do it. I'm just saying sometimes you need to think a little bit more carefully about the words that you use. Because words are like weapons, in the words of Cher. Not my words, Michael. The words of Cher. Words are like weapons, they wound sometimes. Do, do, do. I didn't really mean to hurt you. This is especially for bongers, this. I didn't want to see you go. I know I made you cry. But Nathan, if you could turn back time. Do, 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 do. If I could find a way. Do, 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 do. I'd take back all the words that have hurt you. And you'd stay key change if I could reach the stars. Do, 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 do. I give it all to you, and you love me like you used to do. If I could turn back time.
Okay, we get it. We get it. You know the words to turn back
time. Do you believe in life after love?
What's the best Cher album?
We fall so far.
Cher album?
They're all so good.
Greatest hits, probably.
Yeah, probably.
I guess I kind of like them all, you know.
Yeah. The only problem is I want to keep them to myself.
Yeah, of course you do. Yeah. Goodbye.
I went to a car boot sale the other day, and I bought They had all of records, but I bought them all on vinyl. All the she used to sing with her husband, her ex-husband. He was called Sonny Bono. What was her name?
I can't participate because I don't know the name.
What was the name? Sure. No, I'm going to keep him off myself, mate.
Oh, it's just Cher.
Yeah.
Is that a surname? It's just like calling her Smithy.
No, she's called. I don't know what she's called. Her ex-husband was called Sonny Bono, though, which is a great name.
Yeah, that's true.
And she's just Cher. That's right. Just Cher.
Just Cher.
Yeah.
Like Cher Lloyd, but without the Lloyd.
Yeah, I like
26 studio albums she's released.
Wow.
26.
Yeah.
All good.
Yeah.
All good.
Yeah. Do you believe in life after
25?
Yeah. Well, you'd get to 20 and you'd be like,
She's not using COVID as an excuse for not releasing new music, is she, Warren?
Oh.
You know what? She's not.
Cher's fired.
You guys good? I think we can end this right.
We should have ended about 15 minutes ago, I reckon. We're just dragging it out now. It's unnecessary.
She's got a son called Chaz.
Chaz Bono, yeah.
She hasn't got a son called Dave, though, sadly.
Bono in days. This is one of those ones where
I've said goodbye. I mean, anything that happens now is all.
So, yeah, but happy Halloween, everyone. Hope you don't get eaten by ghost or
ghost. I'd like to leave everyone with a question, very simply with a question. It's an either-or question. Trick or treat? You decide.
Treat.
Happy Halloween, everyone.
Treat? Yeah, treat, please. Yeah. Well, yeah. Bye.